agents. You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5, touchdown Bears!
Time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple, just like that. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. All right? Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like that page as well. And now you're following the show's page. Also, appreciate it. Now, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell right next to the subscribe button. That's the bell. Okay, what that does is that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. If you're watching us on our mobile app, yay. If you didn't know, what? You didn't know we had a mobile app? Come on, man. What are you doing? Listen, you got to keep up with the Joneses and them. We have a mobile app. So listen, wherever you get your apps from, wherever it is, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky's, Macy's, Woolworth. Okay, you go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. Not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. And if you're watching this on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you didn't know, you better ask somebody. Listen, Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. So if you have a Roku device in the house, do us a favor. Download the Sports Zone Chicago tile. Do it. Do it right now. Do it. All right? Download the Sports Zone Chicago tile. Put it right next to HBO Max. Actually, it's Max now. Disney Plus, Hulu, Showtime, Stars, BET, Prime Video. Just download it. Put it right smack dab in the middle of all of them. Okay, and you can watch us live. We're live there right freaking now. Right? Mickey Ficky now. So if you're watching us on the big screen on our Roku channel, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice shit and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, The Snapper, and TikTok. All one handle at The Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at The Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram because you're an IG and you do it just for the gram, well, just follow her at Maya_Akai. That's MAYA_AKAI. Man, we have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. And man, oh man, we got people jumping already, baby. That's what I'm talking about. The chat line, the chat room is jumping. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Man, let's see who we got in there. Vernon Fairley, what up, baby? Can't wait to go to the Sox game tomorrow to celebrate your 41st birthday. Okay. Hopefully they don't get blown out. But let's talk about who the Bulls drafted. Yeah. Come on, man. Hey, so Vernon, so you're gonna go get one of those basketball jerseys, huh? You're gonna get one of those basketball jerseys they're giving out tomorrow. Okay. I got some people going for me, so I will have my basketball jersey as well. I got some people going, so I'm gonna get mine. I'm excited. Those are nice. Those are nice, but I can't do it tomorrow. I can't go tomorrow because I will be busy. Tomorrow's a busy day for the SuperBack. I have a football camp I have to work tomorrow. It's a DJ Moore football camp, so I'll get to meet him tomorrow out in the western suburbs. So I have to be there at 7:45 in the morning. Coaches check-in. Coaches meeting is at 8. We'll be there till noon. You know, we'll get a group. Coaches will get a group picture with DJ Moore, the whole nine. It'll be pretty cool. I'm excited to meet him and work with some kids, some young men. So good stuff. Cornita Squall's in the house. What up? How you doing, Papa? That's what I'm talking about. Michelle Wall's in the Mickey Ficky house. You know what, baby? My little Blues Brothers. It is a TGI. We got some swagger today. And man, we're working on some other. Speaking of swag, we're working on some good. We got some news coming up soon, but not just yet, about some swag stuff. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. He's in the house. Good morning, Papa. Thanks for tuning in. And if he's watching, man, that means that Armando Emeterio Lara the fourth and Jeremiah are watching. Gentlemen, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Lavette Lee, she's in the house. Good morning. How you doing? That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, snap. Charles Edward Bingham McDavid Sr., he's in the house. He's probably lighting one up, just getting ready because I know he's going to be busy. He's been busy the last couple days. He's going to be busy again today with the car wash, the detailing, the car washing. Man, you're going to have money. You'll be working all day, baby, making that money. Hey, save us some money, Charles. Don't take all of it. Vernon, go to hell. I ain't doing no damn burpees. No damn burpees before camp. You crazy? Tell you, if I find out whoever invented the burpee, I'm gonna pull an Eddie Murphy and kick him in the ding ding. Hey, listen, I don't know a lot, but I will tell you this. I can guarantee you that I know this, that a lot more of the usual suspects will check in as the show goes on. I know it. So, hey, listen, I'm fired up, man. CrossFit this morning was good. Man, it was good night last night. I had a big shout out to my guy Hirsch Mosquera. He's a realtor. All right. And they had an appreciation party for, he wanted to get a group. So he had a whole bunch of people over at District Brew House over on Ashland. Great spot. Then we stopped at Output after that because right down quarter mile away from Output. So we were there. Great showing for Hirsch. I'm happy. Anytime I can support a friend, I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's all about helping each other. And, he's just trying to get to numbers and he had to show his bosses that he's working and, he's got a good following. And so I think I can comfortably say his bosses were satisfied. So big shout out to Hirsch, man. All the beer was on all the beer at District Brew House. That was all on. That was all part of Caldwell Banker, his real estate firm. So yeah, good stuff. And man, it was appetizers. They brought chicken wings. They brought chicken tenders. They had some like loaded fries. Man, was that awesome. Good stuff. But got to CrossFit this morning. Nice, quick workout. Had me sweating like a sweater. And now I'm talking to you guys. Man, it doesn't get much better than this. Let me tell you something. It don't get much better than this. And I am happy to be on here with you guys. Listen, let's see. So listen, when I say we have a phenomenal show, I am not bull jiving. At 10 o'clock, my man Ozzie Guillen Jr., he's going to join us, and we're going to talk some baseball. Both Chicago teams are going in different directions. Each Chicago team is going in a different direction. The Cubs, They're going up. The Sox, my good guys, they're not. We're going to talk a little bit about both of those squads with Ozzie Guillen Jr. That's at 10 o'clock. And then to round out the show, my man Michael Boland from CBS Sports, he's going to join us. There was this thing yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I'm not sure if many people saw it. It was this thing called the NBA draft or something or other. I don't remember. But anyway, he's a senior NBA editor for CBS Sports. You've seen him on our show plenty of times. He rocks with us big time. So Michael Boland is going to close out the show today. We're going to talk a lot about things leading up to the draft. There was a lot of trades that went on, or a few, not a lot. There were quite a few trades that went on, big time trades before the draft. The Bulls traded back into the draft since they did not have a pick. So it was quite eventful. Quite eventful. All right, we got a great weekend of sports coming up, and we're 1 week away from NASCAR. We are 1 week away from the NASCAR event. Well, 8 days away. Next Saturday here in Chicago, they're getting the track constructed. I don't know if they finished it or they'll probably finish it this weekend, and they'll leave 4 or 5 days to test it out and make any other adjustments necessary for it. They're moving the barricades. They say they're 10,000 pounds. Those cement barricades. So they were moving. They were setting it up and just laying them, around the track. It was pretty dope, pretty wild to see. Then they got the chain link fence above, connected to the barricade. So it's doing their best to protect the spectators. All right, because remember those cars are going fast, man. When you go fast into a wall, it could do some crazy damage. So those barricades have to be pretty strong, pretty heavy. So, yeah. Vernon, you are a damn fool. You're a damn fool. Dollar Tree NIL program. Oh, my goodness. That's funny. That's funny. So, yeah, Ozzie Guillen Jr. 10 o'clock today, and then at 11:20-ish or 11:30-ish, my man Michael Boland from CBS Sports going to talk. We're going to talk draft, NBA. You know what, Vernon? That's funny you say that. I can't wait for Ricky Bobby weekend, and I haven't been down there yet, so I want to go down there to see. I think Jason's going to try and get some credentials for us. So we can cover the NASCAR thing. I can only go on Sunday if we do get them because my mom's birthday is July 1st. So we have a party for her on Saturday. And I couldn't miss that. Otherwise, she'll throw a few chanclas at me. I'm not messing with that, dude. I am not messing with that at all. So, but yeah, it's gonna be cool, man, to get down there and check it out. So I may drive downtown today just to see how the traffic is. You know what I mean? Because they've closed off a lot of streets. So I just to see it. I got a buddy. I got a guy. So I got a guy who lives on Michigan Avenue. So he's having people over. So if we don't get credentials, I'll see if I can get down there. Just kind of get a bird's eye view of the track and of the. Be pretty cool next weekend. Yeah, this weekend's gonna be fun for the SuperBack as well. As I told you, I have this football camp I need to work tomorrow. It's a DJ Moore camp, so we'll get to meet him. Work with a lot of young athletes as well. And then I have my cousin's birthday party that I thought was last weekend is actually this weekend. So at least I have his present. It's been sitting in the garage for a week now. So good stuff. It's gonna be 90 something. What's the temperatura? Let's check it out. It's gonna be a beautiful weekend here in Chicago. Damn, 87 today in Chicago. Probably right. I think it's supposed to be 90 something tomorrow. Yeah, 92 tomorrow. It's gonna be a nice weekend. So you know what? Get out there, enjoy it. Spend time with your loved ones. Okay, get out there, do cool stuff with the people you love and you care about. All right, friends, family, all right, significant other, kids, grandkids. Just get out there because this is it. Officially summertime shy. Summer started yesterday. I know, was it Wednesday? It started Wednesday. Last show it started Wednesday, like 9:37 in the morning. So summertime shy is officially here. I can wear my white pants, so I'm good. You can't be out of fashion. Come on now. I had to wait. So it's all good, baby. Well, listen. Guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The first top of the morning topic. Let's do it this way. The good guys. My good guys, they welcome the Boston Red Sox to Chicago for a weekend set, a 3-game set starting tonight. All right. Lucas Giolito, he is on the bump for the good guys. He's 5-4 with a 3.54 ERA. He's going against Brian Bello. He's 4-4 with a 3.49 ERA. First pitch tonight is at 7:10. That's on NBC Sports Chicago and AM 1000 on the radio end. Sox are in a situation. All right. We'll talk a little more baseball with Ozzie Guillen Jr., but the Sox are 6 games out. They're in 4th place in the division, still within striking distance. They probably won't dip to 5th as Kansas City, who's behind them, is 16.5 games out. Okay. The one thing that really sucks about this is that they keep giving us false hope. Okay. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Vernon, you know, you're damn right. Italian Shawn season has arrived, baby. Out and about. Man, I'm telling you, we were at District Brewhouse yesterday, Output yesterday. Oh, where was I at? Sox game the day before. I went to the Sox game on Wednesday. Somebody gave me tickets, so I didn't have to pay. That's what I'm talking about. I took the train in. Man, beautiful. You're going to catch me at fests. You're going to catch me at birthday parties, maybe a couple rooftops. Italian Shawn, Summer Shawn. The summer of Shawn is here, baby. Let's not get it twisted. But the good guys, all right, they welcome the Bo Sox to Chicago. And let me tell you something. The Boston Red Sox, they're not very good either. They're 39-37. Still, they're 2 games over 500. The White Sox, we are 12 games under. So on paper, we are definitely the underdog. But here's the thing. Can we take 2 out of 3? Can we? Okay, we got Lucas Giolito on the bump. Lucas is in a contract year, so we're going to see. And there's a lot of talk about him being moved by the trade deadline. So we'll see. I wish Tim Anderson the best in trying to get out of this little funk he's in. He's got a lot of issues. He's got a lot going on. And I mean, and all of it is on him. This is all he's doing. So I don't feel sorry for him. Right? We all make decisions in life, and for every decision, there's a consequence. All right. There are consequences for our decision, good and bad. And he's going through a rough time right now. He's got to buckle up. He's got to have to deal with it because the White Sox need him. His teammates need him. The fans need him. He's going to have to put that shit behind him. He's going to have to realize that for the 5 or 6 hours he's at the stadium, just be at the stadium. Don't worry about the other stuff because there's nothing you can control. You can't control anything else. We've talked about how other athletes have turned inward. They're in the middle of a situation. Patrick Kane, I think, was probably the closest one, the most recent one. So I think Tim Anderson needs to do that. Get his mind off of stuff. And like I said, it's hairy. But again, you made your bed, now you lie in it. So Ni modo, eh? So not too worried about that. He's going to have to. All right. I think this White Sox team, you're going back and you have, remember the trade with Boston. All right, we traded Chris Sale to them. We got Michael Kopech, Yoan Moncada, and we thought we were good. But guess what? To this point, Boston won that trade. Boston won that trade. Boston went out to win a World Series after that trade. We, on the other hand, one playoff appearance, or was it two? Two playoff appearances, both exits in the first round. Yoan often injured. Kopech often injured. Yeah, I think it's fairly easy to say that Boston won that trade. And it sucks. Because you guys, if you follow the show, you know how much I love Yoan Moncada. That's my dude. But you know what? It's not getting it done. And don't be surprised if he's one of those guys moved at the deadline, if they can find a suitor for him. And that's the big issue. He hasn't been putting out good tape, putting up good numbers for people to want him on their squad. Hell, Jake Berger might even take over his spot at third base now because Jake Berger's bat is out once he gets back, because he's out with what is some injury again. It's just I don't know. Pick a limb, pick a side, pick a appendage, and that's probably what he's on the IL for. It's sad, it's comical. Like what's bothering you this time, Papa? What's bothering you this time? So, but listen, let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we'll have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
his last 6 consecutive starts. And he gloves this one-hop smash and throws to first. In addition to being an excellent pitcher, I think he's one of the best fielding pitchers I have ever seen.
The third, Tucker Barnhart at the plate. The pitch. Barnhart drills one deep right center field. This may go, and it is gone. Tucker Barnhart with a home run, his first in a
first time. Pretty well hit to left. Back goes Palacios, still going. That ball's off the wall. Madrigal pulls in at second with a double.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports. I'm sorry, of the Marquee Network. Wrong one. The Marquee Network. And man, let me tell you something. People are out there. They are, man. People are. It's nuts. People have gone across the pond. They have arrived. They're ready to roll. Cub fans are going nutso, and people at what was my guys? The Warthog, no, Waitlink Street, Telford Square, like a whole bunch of people are out there, and that's cool. You know what? I love the fact that some people are able to take advantage of it. You know, some people are able to take advantage of it, and more power to you. You know what? That's awesome. My buddy's down there, and I'm happy for him to be able to. He was down in Paris, and now he's going to London. Dude, that's great stuff, man. That's great stuff. And that leads us to the next top of the morning topic. The Cubs play the Cardinals in London for a 2-game set starting tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. The pitching matchups haven't been announced yet. But it's going to be fun for all those people who were able to get out there. Man, you know, one of my guy who went out there stopped in. Oh, I know where he went. He went to Spain first. That's where it was. He went to Spain. He spent. I'll tell you what, my man did it right. He went to Spain, and he went to Paris, and after Paris, then he went to London. And one of the cool parts about it is he was able to knock a lot of things off of his bucket list. All right, you saw the Moulin Rouge, you saw the Louvre, you saw the Mona Lisa. You know, these are all things. You saw the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, the Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe. So a lot of people were, you know, they've been able to. And that's the good part about it. You know, remember the Bears in London a couple of years ago. Bears fans travel crazy. All right, they knew Cub fans do the same. So I think it's great. It's great. They're trying to build a bridge, no pun intended, to London. You know, possibly have a team out there. Okay, I don't know how well it's going to work. Okay, but if nothing else, what they'll have exhibitions. They'll have, you know, 3-game sets. I forgot who's playing there next year in London, but where did that go? The Major League Baseball is actually trying to get in 2025. In 2025, where did that go? I can't believe it. Well, anyway, have a game in Paris. All right. They're trying to get a game in Paris. Yes, they did. I know where it was. It's right here. Silly me. Silly me. Yeah. In the Mets. So the Major League Baseball has come out and said that the Mets and the Phillies will play in Paris in 2025. So that's going to be awesome. So, you know, Mets fans, New Yorkers talking like this. Philly fans are rabid as well. Flying to Paris. Let's just say there'll be a lot of private jets flying across the Atlantic for that one. All right. People with some money who want to take a private jet across the ocean. That's funny. There'll be a lot of people. So they're making, they're getting international Major League Baseball. That's what they want to do. Open up the markets, and they want to get a lot more fans from overseas. Because remember, follow the money. The more fans you have, the more fans buy shit. All right, they buy jerseys, they buy hats. They're going to go. Maybe they'll want to fly to the States to see their favorite player, or if their favorite player comes there, guess what? Boom, those games are going to be sold out. All right, the merchandising that these sports teams have, Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the NBA, they're marketing second to none. Second to none. So they're just opening up markets, opening up more avenues and more revenue. I mean, let's keep it real. More revenue, more money, more money, more money. You can't fault a league for trying to make money, which is what they're supposed to do. So not bad. So guys, if you're in London and you're watching this from London, hey, have a great time. Enjoy it. All you Cub fans, enjoy it for the Cub fans who can't make it. All right, who are unable to go. But when I saw some of the stories and things on Facebook and Instagram, there are a lot of people, a lot of Cub fans out there roaming the streets of London. Roaming those streets. Hey, again, more power to you. And I'm happy for my guy who was out there, who was able to make a trip of it. He started, like I said, he started in Spain, then he went to Paris, probably took the channel from Paris to London, and he's going to catch the games there tonight. He's DJing Saturday night. So he's a DJ. It's crazy. So he does Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes some brunch Sundays. So he got a gig out there in London. So after the first game on Saturday, he's got a gig because so many Chicago people are going over there. He's spinning at a nightclub out there. So great stuff from my guy Julio. Very proud of him. Good shit. Enjoy it. It's fun. But the next top of the morning topic, the sky. Oh man, it's gonna be a rough one, baby. It's gonna be a rough one. The sky fall to the Washington Mystics, 80-59. I told you this is going to be a rough one because, you trade all your players, or I shouldn't say trade. Let me not, I don't want to misspeak. You have 4 of your 5 starters leave. There's going to be some problems. There's going to be some problems. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's going to be some problems. Alana Smith, she led the way for the Sky. She had 13 points, 8 rebounds. Marina Mabry, she had 8 points. Kalia Copper, okay, she contributed with 7 points, 5 boards, and Morgan Bursch, she contributed with 7. Sky are hurting. Sky are 5-8 on the season. This is going to be a very trying season for the Sky. You got a whole bunch of new faces that have to gel. They have to get used to playing ball with each other. And then you get other teams who have, like the Vegas Aces, who are the pronounced favorite to win. Our girl Candace Parker went over there, and one other WNBA All-Star went over there to go with Asia. You talk about a bomb squad, a dream, a big 3 or big 4, a super team, so to speak. Las Vegas Aces, they have it. So will our team make the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know about this team. Again, we're 5-8. Washington's 8-4. And man, we'll see. But it's going to be a long one. Relax, sit back, relax, and strap it down, because it's going to be the thing that I worry about. Here's the thing that I worry about. That as fast as the WNBA became popular here in Chicago, that's as fast as the interest in it is going to wane. It's going to decrease. That fast, if not faster. Chicagoans don't like losing teams unless you're a Cub fan. I know I got a lot of nerve talking about my White Sox, but nonetheless, they don't like losing teams, and they're not most. The Skies don't have enough equity in the city for them to continue having bad seasons, to have bad seasons and expect the city to follow. I'm not. It's just I'm just speaking facts. All right, you're a new team. There wasn't a lot of hype about you. There's not a lot of publicity about the Sky. All right, until they got in the playoffs. They won the WNBA title 2 seasons ago. Cool, it was at all-time high. But if this team starts losing, you're going to get a lot of people who are like, "Yeah, I'd rather just stay in instead of driving into the city or heading down the South Loop." So they need to make sure that they nip this in the bud and they have a competitive season and get into the playoffs, because right now they're struggling, as I said, at 5-8. Not a good record. So, next top of the morning topic, man. So the day started off and the Bulls did not have one pick in the draft, but the Bulls jumped into the fray and they draft Julian Phillips. Second round with the 35th overall pick. He is a athletic wing. Oh man. He's an athletic wing out of Tennessee. Let me tell you something. This is a situation where you wonder why people get mad. People get mad because you don't do anything at the before the trade. So there was rumors about, and I get it. You need a dance partner, but you're talking about trading Zach LaVine, maybe DeMar DeRozan. Okay, you don't do anything at the trade deadline, and then I'm sorry, at the right before the draft, and then when the draft comes, you go and you draft this guy. This guy is a project. Does that help your shooting woes? Does that help you with the worst 3-point shot percentage in the league, or you know what I mean? Like, why would you go get a project? I thought you got a project last year in Dalen Terry, and now you're getting a project again this year. So they jump back in to the second round, 35th pick, and nab Julian Phillips from Tennessee. Doesn't float my boat, doesn't get me excited, sorry, it just doesn't. He is a 6'8", like wing guy, again, who's got work to do. He's got to develop. And from what we've seen from this Bulls player development staff, I don't know. We've seen some flashes. We've seen Kobe develop a little bit. I need to see Io. I guess we have seen Io develop a little bit, but we need more. We need more. And that's not going to cut it. I think it's fair to say we lost the Vooch trade. Now that the Vooch trade has been finalized. All right, it's been finalized, and we got screwed. We got screwed. All right. The final tally, and this is according to Joe Cowley from the Chicago Sun-Times. The final tally for that trade is the Bulls got Nikola Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu for Otto Porter Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner, and Howard. All right. And we got a guy who's a poor man's best day, a poor man's version of Nikola Jokic on his best day. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about it? Cornelius says, well, at least they got more athleticism. Okay, well, is that going to stop? Is that going to stop the 3-point woes? They're going to help it? I don't think so. Because if this guy's a project, he's most likely not going to be able to contribute this year. If it does, it'll be mid to late in the season. So it'll be another cheerleader like Dalen Terry was last year. Just like Dalen Terry was last year. He was a big cheerleader. We got in. He did some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. Oh. But, man, it was frustrating at times to see him not play because of the fact that he gave good minutes. The kid was youthful energy, exuberance, defense, hustle up and down the court. But do we need another project? Do we? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. And as expected, the NBA draft, Victor Wembanyama, I think I said his name right, goes number 1 in San Antonio. Okay. Was no surprise. No surprise whatsoever. All right, Brandon Miller, kid out of Alabama. He went number 2 to the Hornets. And that was despite all the legal issues surrounding him and the controversy at Alabama. Number 3, Portland Trailblazers, Scoot Henderson. All right, out of the Elite League. The Houston Rockets get Amen Thompson from Overtime Elite, another AAU team. And then the Pistons get Asur Thompson from Overtime Elite, another AAU squad. You know, here's the cool part. Like, there's looking in the draft, going down to 11. This is really cool. Going down to 11, Jet Howard, shooting guard from Michigan, gets selected by the Magic. Well, it's pretty cool. You know why? I guess that was the final piece to that puzzle. But Jet Magic is the son of Jet Magic. Jet Howard is the son of Juwan Howard, Chicago's very own, part of the Fab Five, had a very long and productive NBA career, and is now the head coach at the University of Michigan. And his son was drafted in the first round. So here, this is not just let's take him. You see, remember how the Cowboys drafted one of their scouts? His son was at a small school. And so they drafted him in the 4th or 5th round, something like that. Just took a flyer on him. Most likely not going to make the team, but it was the emotion of the draft scout, and his family. All right, just getting a kid into the NFL is huge and should be congratulated. I don't think that kid's going to stick. But Jet Howard's not a 4th, 5th round pick. I mean, there's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft, but he's a first round pick, number 11. He's got to have some talents. So we're going to find out. So kind of keep an eye out for Jet Howard. All right, I know he's not from Chicago because I think he was born in Chicago but grew up down in Miami when his dad played down in Miami. So we'll see. Next top of the morning topic. Plenty of trades going on yesterday and the day before, leading up to it in the draft. One of the big ones is Christian Porzingis. He gets moved. And let me tell you something. Them moving Christian, man, Porzingis I think he's a phenomenal player. I don't know what happened in Dallas. I don't know. Him and Luca, you figured that would have worked. The 2 Euros, get along, whatever. Let's see. What are you talking about? But Shawn asked, do I have faith in Acme making a bold move? It's a good question. Do I trust them to make a bold move? It's not the bold move that I'm worried about. It's the quality of that move. You know, like if you go in and get a dead-eye three-point shooter, okay. But if you trade for another bench guy, like, you know what I mean? You follow me? So, Michelle, I don't have complete faith in Acme to this point. Okay, I don't. You had local products in your system that you let it get away. You know, I'm talking about Max Struess. But I don't know. That's going to be. And then let's not forget, after that, you know, they acquired Kristaps Porzingis. And then the day before that, what was crazy was Phoenix acquired Bradley Beal. They acquired Bradley Beal. Wow. Now you got Bradley Beal, KD, and Devin Booker. But I'm not worried about that team because I need a point guard. You need a point guard, especially with 3 guys ball dominant like that. You need a point guard. You need a point guard. Next topic, morning topic is the Golden State Warriors again acquired Chris Paul. Why? For a package that includes Jordan Poole and future draft picks. Why would this trade be made? Unless they want Chris Paul to facilitate, but they don't need facilitation. They do this well. They do this very, very well. Why this trade was made blows my mind. Not only that, but then let's not forget Draymond Green optioned out or exercised his right. He opted out of his player option, $37 million. He said no. Like, listen, dude, you realize you're not going to get that on the open market. Do you realize that? So this GM, which everybody loved, the Golden State, gets rid of Jordan Poole, has Draymond Green opt out, brings in an actual point guard. Well, what was wrong with Steph running the point? What was wrong with Steph? I think this was just a horrible, horrible, horrible move by the Golden State Warriors. Horrible. Well, the next top of the morning topic. This is crazy. This is crazy if you haven't heard about this or known this or anything. Because if you have, I know most of you haven't. But anyway, let's see. What's the next top of the morning topic? Oh man, prime time. Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is set to undergo foot surgery in his left foot. State of affairs. If you remember, he was hobbling around at Jackson State. He even had a little scooter. He had 2 of his toes removed. If you saw the interview with when he was on Club Shay Shay, when Shannon Sharp went down there, remember him and Shannon Sharp played together on the Ravens. So they're both 2 outspoken personalities. So they clicked. One was on offense, one was on defense, but they clicked. And so when Club Shay Shay went down to visit Deion Sanders at HBCU at Jackson State, you know, it was, you know, he joked with him a little bit about only having 8 toes, but it's kind of ironic. A guy who made his living with his speed, may eventually have to have his foot amputated. Guy who's one of the fastest guys in the NFL. Guy who said, hey, can we just pick a man and stay with him all game? That's how he wanted to play defense in the secondary. Let's just pick a guy and stay with him. Well, Cornelius, Draymond opted out. Doesn't mean they can't re-sign him, but he opted out. Apparently, he thought he was going to get more than his $37 million somewhere else. I don't think he's worth it. I don't think he gets it. But hey, what do I know? That's just me. That is just me. What else do we have here? Sky Draft. And Dion. Oh, okay, that's it. That is it for top of the morning segment. So listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick break. All right, on the other side of the break, we're gonna welcome our guy Ozzie Guillen Jr. All right, we're gonna talk baseball and the state of affairs, State of the Union address, so to speak, for the White Sox, my White Sox and the Cubbies. So guys, don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked here because Ozzie Guillen Jr. is going to join us next, right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Off the fake. Fields against the grain. Finds Jesse James. Field. With time. Delivers down the field. Fake one way. Fields stumbling. Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Everybody in a work zone is somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
Order up. Thank you. When I want to give up, I try to focus on getting to the next minute, then the next hour, and the next day.
It might not seem like it right now, but there are people out there like me who want to listen and support you for the long haul.
And I found someone to talk to, someone who listened.
You are not alone.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
See if Eloy can deliver some extra base power here.
1-1. That's a drive to right field. Garcia back, track and wall. That ball's in the air and gone.
This was called out on strikes in the second inning.
Cracked to left field by Andrews. Jankowski can only watch it. The Sox have the lead back. left field. That's a base knock for Remillard. Jankowski's throw is in. Tux will take a look.
You got nothing to lose by wanting to take a look in New York.
After review, the call on the field is overturned to a violation.
Oh, it's a violation by Jonah Heim for being in the line of the slide by Elvis Andrus. So he was out at the plate, but the catcher being in the way creates a run.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. That was on Tuesday. That was, woo. So I wore my socks. I wore a Sox t-shirt on Wednesday morning. I was running around at Mariano's, and I had a sock shirt on. And I'm walking in, and the guy's like, "They stole one yesterday." I'm like, "They damn sure did," but I am not giving it back. I am not giving it back. The wins are hard to come by for the good guys on the South Side. So believe you me, whether they deserved it or not, I am not giving them those wins back. On the other side of town, Cubs. What did I say on Wednesday? Where are all those fire David Ross people? I don't really hear them very much anymore. Excuse me. Where are they at? Well, my next guest, we're going to talk about both sides of town. All right, you can see, man, he's been rocking with us for years. You can find him on Twitter, Ogie and Junior. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya. My man, Ozzie, Gian, Junior. Papa, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How's it going? Thank you for
good, man. Me. Good. Things are going well, man. You know I love talking baseball with you.
Of course. So much to deep dive in the soap opera that is the Chicago White Sox.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw my post a couple of days ago. Oh no, that was about Zach Levine. But I said it the other day. I'm like, you know what? As much as my favorite guy on the team on this team is Yo-Yo, I love him to death, and he might be odd man out. Talk to me about some moves you think that might be made. Well, obviously he's hurt right now, so nothing can be made at that particular point. But do you think the Sox are going to start selling? You know, Bob Nightingale said that they are going to. It looks Giolito will probably be moved. He said he'd look at Tim Anderson. He said on my show and on another radio show in Chicago the next day or so, time to blow this thing up. Your thoughts on the good guys on the South Side?
Well, I think the word blow things up might be a little dramatic and a little drastic. Okay. I'm going to go back, and the White Sox should take a look at their history, and I think it's repeating itself. I think that most fans on Twitter these days are probably like 7 years old, probably can't even go to the bathroom on their own yet. When it's happening, and that's why you have so much difference. And you can talk analytics and stats and stuff. Some stuff is just common sense. The situation from the 04 team to the 03 team to the 04 team, basically they removed an older manager who had been there for a while, who didn't have life, who didn't speak Spanish. And they thought they were going to bring this young, hip, stronger manager, and that the team was going to change completely. They brought in Ozzie Guillen. The difference was Ozzie Guillen, within 3 months of being there, said this team lacks heart. This team lacks X, Y, and Z. But there's really good pieces in this team. We should make moves. And Kenny Williams at the time said, I'm scared. I don't think that you're right, but I'm willing to give it a shot because we keep losing and keep doing the same thing. And they made moves. Jose Contreras comes at the end of the year. A lot of moves midseason. And that sets themselves up to the players that became the real core, okay? Because for many years, I heard here in the South Side of Chicago, they would say that Maglia was the leader and Carlos Lee was the leader, and they had swagger. No one would talk about Konerko, no one would talk about Burley, and those guys came to shine later. That's the same situation they're in right now. They had Tony La Russa. They said, we removed Tony, he's the problem. We put in Pedro Grifol and his genius, and this team will win 120 games and we'll be World Series champions. And they're not. And the difference is Pedro, Ozzie was not carrying the water, and Pedro keeps saying this team is good, and I feel like he wants to be friends with these guys, and it makes me think that he wants these guys to be here long term. Because if Pedro's wanting to be the other way, he said, get rid of all these guys. I want to be here for the longevity of my contract, and I have a better chance to win if we change these things up. What does that look like? You make a couple pieces, you build around Berger, you bring around Cheats, Avant Vaughn, maybe less swagger, more boring, but maybe more wins. So it's a situation of a story was sold so hard in the COVID year, how much fun this team was, and change the game and the swag and the chains and the hat backwards and hi mom. That was a 60-game season, man. 60 games. We could any team looks amazing in 60 games. Any team looks horrible in 60. It was a 60-game season. Let's be honest. So maybe they were in too quickly, and then the year after that, you get Tony. He wins with them. Then they don't. So many things are up in the air of like they really need to find out what the core is of this team, not in the marketing, but more like what's on the field. And when you look at it, they've tried it with this team already. They've tried over and over again, and they seem like there's talent, but you can blame injuries, you can blame overvaluing. It's just not working out. So I think they could restructure. Mind you, you're not going to get the Dodgers farm system for Tim Anderson like everyone thinks. Maybe Lucas Giolito the way he's pitching, but everyone, if you're going to make moves, they have some key pieces that they could probably make some moves from and make their team better. Maybe not better on your fantasy team, maybe not better on individual stats, but maybe better on wins. And it goes back to this. W is the most important stat for a team as a team.
Yep.
And that's what they need to get back to. So maybe retooling and restructuring could be the thing. The question is, for the White Sox, and I'm not saying anybody should get fired or will get fired, is Rick Hahn the guy that builds it for the future? So if you let Rick make the moves, okay, what does that look like down the line? So that's the hard part. That's the part where you let the guy that you might fire at the end of the season make the moves in the middle of the year, or you say, Rick, make the moves, you're here for 3 years. So it could be something that I think, in my opinion, personally, if I was going to fire Rick Hahn at the end of the season, or I was thinking about it, I just can him now and try to have, Kenny and them try to make the moves or whoever it is. But if I'm going to keep Rick Hahn for long term, let him make the moves, let him, see this out. What is it? 2 more years with his manager and just kind of ride out the wave.
Talk to me about, let me know what you think about this. I went on a rant on Monday, and I was pissed. I'm just freaking pissed. This organization, been my favorite organization since I was a kid. All right. And at this stage of the game, the thing that's really bothering me is the egos of everyone involved. Starts at the top. All right. I think Rick Hahn did a great job of acquiring tons of talent. I mean, you look at on paper, you got the number one prospect in Yo-Yo. You had a great prospect in Eloy. You got Lou Bob. You traded for Giolito. You traded for Dane Dunning. You traded for Kopech. You got all these guys. Okay, great. Then Jerry steps in and says, well, my guy trying to make up, try to get a do-good for Tony La Russa, he puts in the manager, but that's not his job. That's the general manager's job.
Let's go back. So wait. So I got to say this. So the reason that they bring in Tony is because within a month and a half, and this is where Rick and the team gets in trouble. Okay, because they're about to do it again with Grifol. With Rick Renteria, they told everyone that Rick Renteria was the next coming of Earl Weaver, that he was the best manager ever, that they were going to ride with Rick Renteria till the end, that what happened in the Cubs was never going to happen in the White Sox. And within a month, after the Cleveland series and the fiasco in Oakland, that we still don't know who we're going to blame for that one, because there's more conspiracy theories than the Kennedy assassination on that one, on whose call it was. And then there was rifts. Rick, the better the team got, the more Rick didn't want the front office involved. And there was rifts. And again, people only think that the rifts came with Ozzy. Like, there was rifts within there. And they said, we need to fire Rick Renteria. And when Jerry saw the list of the guys that they wanted to bring in, okay, I think that he said, I'm going to make an executive decision. If you guys are this ready to win, I'm going to bring a manager that won't mess it up. The fact is, though, the roster was never as good as everyone said that it was. That's the issue. When was this roster good? For the 60-game season, I mean, talking the whole roster. I'm not talking about TA's batting title. I'm not talking about Eloy's healthy year. I'm not talking about Moncada's huge season. I'm talking about as a whole. When is the whole team there? That's where it lacks. It is a product. When you buy it online, it looks amazing on Amazon. You think you're going to look super cool wearing it. And then when you buy it, you find out that it was not made well and it breaks within that. That's where the problem lies. They keep blaming Tony La Russa. And by the way, Tony won 90-plus games with this team. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, though, and I kept saying it along, and they said, you're boring, you're outdated, let the boys have fun. They played always without discipline. Okay, they did whatever the F they wanted. And those core years of them building the right way and those losses losing the right way, they took those for granted. And that's why they're in the situation here. Because it's not the same having Yoan Moncada 7 years in the big leagues than having him 1 year in the big league. It's not the same having Tim Anderson pre-batting title. But if you came down on them, you were the evil person. So flip the bat, do the all that happened in Rick Renteria's time. So you can lose the right way. Did they lose the right way? Did they build that core? That's what now we're looking at the second judge. So the Tony thing, because that's going to be the storyline. Just like the White Sox would have won the World Series in 94, there's no strike. That is going to be the storyline. We did not go win the World Series because they hired Tony La Russa, even though Tony La Russa won 90-plus games with a half-healthy team.
Well, here's let me finish my thought. So the ego comes in. Jerry wants to makes his own decision. So at that point, again, still, that should have been, all right, I guess the general manager's job. I think that's what you hire him for. But he steps in because that wasn't Rick Hahn's hire, and you could tell in the press conference when he's like, this is an organizational decision. No, this ain't an organizational decision. You're the dude who makes the fucking decisions. All right? So whatever. So then finally he gets Tony La Russa is no longer there due to health problems or whatever. And now Rick Hahn has a chance to hire a manager. But everybody that the names come up, he doesn't hire any veteran managers. He doesn't hire your dad. He doesn't hire Bruce Bochy. He didn't even interview Bruce Bochy. He didn't hire anyone else.
Candidates. I think that Grifol was the manager in September from everything that we've heard. I think that the Ozzie interview was to save face. I think from that, I'm talking to them internally.
Right. But that lends credence to exactly what I'm going to say. They don't want a manager because your dad, Bruce Bochy, they'd be like, fuck you. You're not putting my lineup together. I'm putting my lineup together. You're not making decisions from up there. I'm making decisions. They want a puppet. They continually, perpetually want puppet. The GMs are the pretty boys now. Managers, you know, what do they talk? They talk. Managers only account for 3 or 4 wins a year now, thanks to the stat boys. Okay. So, which I think is crazy, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. The ego of these guys, okay? If Rick Hahn said, "Hey, this is probably the best manager," I think your dad was the best manager, and he said it succinctly and perfectly on the post game. There might be better managers out there, but no one knows his team as well as I do because I've watched them 150 times a year. All right, they didn't hire Bruce Bochy. They didn't bring in a Girardi. They didn't look at a Madden. They didn't look at anybody who they would not be able to control. That's the problem for me because what's Bruce Bochy? Where was Texas last year? Damn near the basement of the AL West.
He wouldn't have got Bruce.
What I'm saying is, look at what he's doing with. You got a veteran manager, and look what he's doing with a team that was crap last year.
So,
and it could have been here. Any type, I'm not just saying just him, but any manager who's obviously they can't control, who's able to run his own ship tightly, would have these guys performing well, I believe. And we don't have a guy and who runs it tightly, and we're not performing well. And so it bothers me.
You're correct. And I'm going to give you a scenario. And right now, anyone that's listening, forget my last name. Forget my first name, forgetting anybody that I'm related to, because just because who my name is associated to, you are not going to listen to the message. Let's use Ozzie Guillen representing an era of baseball. Bruce Bochy, Ron Washington, Ron Gardenhire, Mike Scioscia, Joe Madden. That's how many names are out there. And I'm naming Joe Girardi, all with ties to Chicago one way or the other, because I can tie any manager to any organization. It's that easy. It's like seven degrees to Kevin Bacon in baseball. Okay. And by the way, did Rick Hahn hire this guy, or did that come from Getz and the Kansas City connection? That's a whole other conspiracy. So you got a veteran manager. Okay. And again, goes back to the Tony La Russa situation. You won 90+ games with Tony and went 81 and 81, okay, with a half-performing team that was hurt. So you're allegedly that close. When you're looking, I'm not saying Ozzy, I'm not saying Bruce Bochy, I'm saying from a veteran manager, they could have gone in there and looked for the best veteran manager that he wanted, meaning a guy that's the learning curve is not going to hurt him. Why? Including Ozzie Guillen, ladies and gentlemen, including every single manager in Major League Baseball. Your first year in the big leagues, you're going to make mistakes. With a good team, with a bad team, the game is fast. As a first-year manager, you're going to make mistakes. I don't judge David Ross in year one like I judge him now. I didn't judge Rick Renteria the same way I judged him year one as I did his last year. I was hard on him his last year because you should know better. So when Pedro Grifol makes really bad managerial moves, I'm not that hard on him. Why? It's his first year managing.
Part of the process, yeah.
It's part of the process. Here's the part. They told everyone they're ready to win today. So you're ready to win today, but you're bringing in a manager that you know is going to have a learning curve because it's his first year. Okay. First year's a huge year. And now it's not going well. Now you're seeing him frustrated with the media. Now it's a whole, like, being a manager is not easy. Yeah, like the players are underperforming. Here's a situation where they didn't want to bring those managers. And this is a part where you're going to be upset and say, this is so White Sox. Because they always have a plan B. Okay. And their plan B is, if this doesn't work out, we have our rebuild manager. Because guess who's a very good rebuild manager? And you have a lot of runway with him to be able to make these guys and mold them to his liking. You have Pedro Grifol. Why? Because Ozzie Guillen in 2012 is not the same as Ozzie Guillen in 2004. So with Ozzie Guillen in 2004, if it didn't work out in 2005, he was still very happy to be in the big leagues. He was molding guys. He just got lucky and won it too early. Pedro Grifol, as a year two manager, he gets a younger team. You know, they're not competing for the World Series. He has a little runway. By year three, he might get better. He might get extended. You might see him winning by year 4 or 5, okay, in theoretically. So now you have your manager, which I like to call it the Birmingham Project, the manager for the Birmingham Project. But none of those older guys, Bochy, Ozzy, none of those guys would have been like, oh, okay, I'm there for the rebuild. Or if they would have told the fans, hey, this is a complete rebuild, I'm here for the ride, it is what it is, they would just tell you flat out. They're not selling you on like, oh, we're still good, we're still competing. That's the issue. Like with Pedro, you had a Swiss Army knife. If it doesn't work out, we have the guy for the future in the runway and we can develop our own manager. But now everyone's like, wait, but you told us we got to win now. You have that stupid word window, okay? We're going to have this window and that window and this. So now everyone's like, wait, we were expected to win now. That's why fans are pissed off, because you look at it and you're like, wait, we're nowhere near to win, and they're blaming Pedro for it. Yes, he's making mistakes and he's doing things, but that was going to happen from a first-year manager. And back to the lineup, who's making these lineups? Man, I hope it's not the front office, because I would not take credit for this lineup. I don't care what, and I think I love it because everyone sold him on he's an analytical manager. I don't know in what analytical manager world or in any world Jake Berger's hitting 8th or 7th. Anyway, okay, that's just
why? Because all he does is hit homers and doubles. I mean,
the same though. Like he doesn't. And by the way, the Jake Berger story, he didn't break camp with them. He didn't break camp with them. They don't play him consistently. He's the only guy in the court. He's the only guy in the White Sox uniform that has earned every single second of his playing time. Nothing's been handed to him. No contract. Got hurt, came back,
twice,
moved. The guy is a grinder. That's why he's one of my favorite players, because nothing has been handed to him. They didn't say, here's your position. Where's Colas? Where is Colas? Now the prospect is Montgomery. Now it's Popeye. Where is Colas? Where is he? So
fell off the face of the earth.
So now you have to. People think, oh, Jerry sells a team, problems fixed. Okay, really? That easy? Jerry's not going to sell. Number one.
No, he's enjoying those multi-million-dollar paychecks.
You don't wake up next day and say, I'm selling the team because they put a
fans are mad at me.
Fans are mad at me. Like, dude, like, that's the dumbest thing ever. But
they went on the radio and said, "Sell. I'm going to sell."
Yeah, I'm selling. Like, dude, like you're not selling that. It's not that easy. It's not that. You're selling a baseball team. It's like it's not that easy. So that's where they're at right now. So I think it's a double-edged sword, because I think that it's unfair to Pedro.
I do too.
When they say fire him, It's like, wait, he just got here. Is he making really bad managerial moves? Yes. Okay, but he's also a first-year manager who was not coming from a World Series team. He was on the Kansas City Royals, and when they won, he was like the bullpen coach. So, like, I'm not judging him that hard. Like, you were sold the Cinderella story, but he's not Cinderella, and he's got a great baseball acumen. You know, this team is so funny. Eloy Jimenez yesterday on Foul Territory said that he was so happy that Pedro Grifol was there because he was a bilingual manager. And I'm like, dude, your last two managers were bilingual. Yeah. What are you talking about? Like, they literally give him the script to talk, and then you're like, you're lying. Just say, hey, I like Pedro because he likes me and we're cool. Just say that. Just say, hey, I like Pedro. Keep it real. Cool. Just be real. Say, hey, I like. And the mistake started right from the moment he got hired. The storylines, like, oh, Pedro went and bought people, homeless people food, and like just the weird stories. And he had the Eloy calling him, but then Eloy asked him for his phone number, and then he goes into a script where he tells you literally every single thing you want to hear, like a Christmas tree, like fundamentals, and I'm going to lie into this, and I'm a horizontal, vertical, and the people that were analytical, they passed out on how happy they were, and everything was so perfect, and we're going to kick your ass. And you're like, if you're a baseball person, I was like, ooh, this sounds great. I love it. It's a great PR, great way to talk, great political. But I was like, everyone's taking notes, okay? And everyone's going to come after you and make fun of you and create memes when this happens. And that happens. He said that Tim Anderson was my favorite one. I've never had a thought cross my mind to hit Tim Anderson second, and then the next day he's hitting second. And it's like, real. After that comment, you went home and thought about it and said, man, maybe I shouldn't hit. Those things are going to happen. And now with the record that they're playing, if he was up 20 games up in 5 over, you don't see the mistakes as much. But since they are struggling, his moves and to his defense, the moves that he has made at times, he's done it with limited guys in the pen. A guy's hurt here, a guy's hurt there. It's hard to put the mix, but the pressure's on, man, because he really got sold on how good this team was. And he really got sold, and they doubled down on the fans, and we signed Benintendi, and Jerry has spent money, guys. Just they spent his money the wrong way. There's like $80 million in the bullpen. Okay, yeah. There's like no money in Texas Rangers bullpen, for example. So I just think they need to write it out. I just think right now for White Sox fans, they think it can't get worse. Oh, it can definitely get worse.
Oh yeah,
you can be the Pittsburgh Pirates and not have a over 500 season for the next 20 years. That's where right now the decisions that you make for the future, you cannot think about, I'm going to win the World Series next year, and you need to think about the health of the franchise. The White Sox are not just struggling at the big league level. They're struggling at the minor league level. Okay. Yes, we have a number 2 prospect, but that's because every team has a number 2 prospect. But your number 2 prospect is not anywhere near the top of the number 2, the number 1, the number 3, number 4. I have a funny story. I was like, man, what's the big deal with this kid, Noah Schultz? Like, yes, he's from Illinois. Like, if he was from California, we'd be talking about him. He's got nasty stuff. He looks good, but like, people are obsessed with him. And realize he's the only lefty in the minor league system that can throw hard.
Oh, wow.
He's literally the only lefty that's like in a top rank. So you're like, well, no wonder they're obsessed with this kid in the media and everybody, because he is the only one, which I hope he does well. But again, I think that I think they need to be smart and think with their mind. Because even if you win the division, is it the best thing moving forward? Meaning, and can you win the division? You're 6 games out. You really haven't been really close unless there's a huge collapse and the team's in front of you and you get really, really hot. You take it. But I think that this team could rebuild and retool and be a little bit better. Just because I've seen this team perform without TA. I've seen this team perform without, Moncada. I've seen this team perform without Eloy. I've literally seen this team perform well or bad with somebody missing in the lineup. And unless you're going to sign Lucas Giolito, you don't want an Abreu situation to repeat itself. When you have a guy walk and it really got nothing for you in return, I really think that they should really think about it. And again, I've always said this. I have a lot of respect for Kenny Williams from a baseball standpoint. I don't know how involved he is today, but he's been there. He's done it. He's rebuilt teams before on the fly in a 1-year turnaround. He has he has the ability to do it. Rick Hahn, I don't know. He's never done it. It's been 10 years. So again, that's where and here's the thing. No one's talked about it. was Kenny not involved because he put it all on Rick Hahn and said, you pick the manager, you pick the guys. And now he says, okay, you're gone. We need to move on to somebody else. So the next 2 months are going to be very interesting for the future of the Chicago White Sox, not just for this season. And then the whole storyline, like bring Ozzy right now in the middle of the year. That's probably the most moronic. It would just be, I thought interviewing Ozzy was wild. And I still don't understand why they did it.
I don't either.
Hiring him now, it will even be more moronic and more of a Hail Mary. And there's just a lot more to go bad than good. They have a great coaching staff in the sense that they have baseball guys in there. But they might not be that good they might be good on paper, but they cannot turn that into wins. I don't care how many eye pitches they got. They got the eye pitch machine. Basically, they don't have a walk feature for it because they're the worst walking team in baseball and on-base percentage. When you look at the numbers, there's things that are scary, but I think that there's some players in the core that you can build around. You got Cease, you got Berger, now you got Sheets. That you can move around. You can hide Moncada for another year because no one's going to take him and maybe just DH him. But again, you got to start thinking about the future of the franchise and the team and get off this. We need to win the World Series next year, which I don't know where it came from, man. You have one World Series in 100 years. Like, let's be real.
It's bothersome because I see this team is extremely talented. All right, you look it up and down the lineup, and they're extremely talented. But getting them to play
talented how though? Like talented how? Like they look like they can play baseball, but can they play? Talented how?
Yeah, it's also they look like it, but you've seen signs. You've seen guys. Obviously you've seen Lubob, but then Lubob, you see some at bats where Lubob is just completely off, like his head.
Lubob would be the greatest 60-game player in the history of baseball if he got hot. It's like when you see that picture of Tim Tebow and one of the Manning brothers and says one of these guys is a Hall of Famer. You would tell anyone that doesn't know sports and they would their minds would get blown. They look good in a uniform, man. You have to do it in the MLB level. MLB is a grind day in and day out. And one of those things
that's my whole thing is that, and I've said it ad nauseum, bro. I don't think they're in love with the process. I don't think, and I'm not saying that they don't want to get ready for the season, but there's a grind that you have to have. You can't worry about being the best left fielder. You have to worry about today. You have to worry about getting your steps done. You have to worry about getting your reads done. You have to worry about breaking on a bat if you're on the outfield, on the crack of the bat, getting good starts, all those things. You got to be in the batting cages. How you have to understand how they're going to pitch me. Okay, I've been knocking a whole bunch of home runs on inside pitches. They're probably going to pitch me away. So now I need to work on that and work on pitches away. Expect pitches away. Expect them down and low so they're trying to wipe me out. All these things this is part of the process that makes people great. I don't believe, and this is just me looking as a former athlete and as a coach, I don't believe that they are in love with the process. I don't feel that they want to be the best baseball player in the league. I think, and me personally, bro, I think they're happy that they got their money because now their financial output, their families, their families are taken care of, which is great. The generations of Louis Robert Jr. and Eloy and Yo-Yo, their families are going to live a completely different life than 8 years ago. You know what I mean? And I think they started to chill now, like you said, being content. And now's not the time to chill, in my opinion. Now's the time where you really go to work. Because if you give me a Kobe mentality, a Michael mentality, a Mike Trout mentality back in the day, someone who wants to be the best, it's another story.
By the way,
they don't have that, bro.
But they don't have that, and that's
and that's
if I had hair, I'd pull it out. Leadership is not that you're cool with guys. Leadership, and I've been around teams, man. And I thought that the Liam Hendricks coming back, okay, I would have been Liam Hendricks. I said, I just got back from cancer, dude. And you guys are not playing because you have a pulled hamstring. Get over yourselves. Like I would, but then you come off now in today's game as you are the mean person.
It's insensitive,
okay? You're insensitive. They asked Griffo, have you talked to Tim Anderson? Who cares? He's the manager. He can hit Tim Anderson ninth. He can bench him. He doesn't have to talk to him. Okay, he doesn't have to. The media and everybody makes it such a big thing about like you're hurting the players' feelings and putting the players up front. When you look at the Texas Rangers, you know that Bochy's the boss. From the young players. Why? No, because he goes, Google me. And when he talks about winning culture and my rings, he has done it. Players, they can talk about analytics a million times. Human beings are human beings. When somebody comes in a meeting and says, winning culture, we're going to go do this, and say, dude, where have you won? What are you talking about winning? Where have you won? This is all BS. You read this in a book. That's why I'm not a manager. I can't be up there and say, hey, when I used to do it. That's Major League Baseball players and players. I don't care how much we'll talk about analytics. And analytics are great, but they're still human beings. So when you look somebody in the eye and say, dude, you're full of it. You're full of it.
When have you done it? Yep.
No, I'm saying when they look at the interview and they say, oh, I just talked to so-and-so and that's never crossed my mind. The players look at that and they say, this guy's full of it, or the organization's full of it, or we want to go, we want to win. And then you're like, well, we haven't signed a right fielder. The players feel that. So they're like, wait, why do I have to do it? If that guy doesn't want to do it, why do I have to do it? They're not obsessed with winning. Okay.
Bingo. That's what I've been saying for months.
When your team becomes obsessed with winning. Okay. And I hate going back to 2004 and stuff because it's like, oh, you're just going back to the World Series year. They had great years after that. In the new format, they make the playoffs a whole bunch more times. Ozzie Guillen lands in Chicago, and in the first conversations, they made Paul Konerko. They said that he was a cancer. That was the word that they used. He's a clubhouse cancer. And Mark Burley has an attitude problem. And Ozzie was going in, and I said, don't think about anything that those people told you. Give them your own judgment.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Guess what? Paul Konerko and Mark Burley were not the problem. And they found out within 2 weeks. The problem was that Paul Konerko and Mark Burley were actually pissed off on a daily basis because they wanted to win. Okay?
God forbid you have passion about your sport.
They wanted to win. They couldn't care less if they were making $700 million. They wanted to win. They had gotten their butts kicked enough and been embarrassed enough that they knew that they were better and they wanted to win. They wanted to accomplish things. There was guys on that other roster who I'm still friends with today that they could care less if they won or lost. They wanted their stats. They wanted their numbers. We've had this conversation.
They wanted their money.
They wanted their money, and that's okay. You add to that team somebody like AJ Brzezinski, who hates losing to his kids in a Monopoly game. Okay? That aura, that's not something that you market. That's something that you actually feel. When you get on the field, the kid from Texas yesterday hit a home run. No one's talked about it. And he went like this. Go replay that. Because he's still mad that the game got stolen from them the night before. He's not showing up the pitcher or the team or the umpire. He's just telling his team they can go replay that because they're fighting for a division. They know that Houston's 4 games out, 5 games out. They're trying to prove to themselves day in and day out that with the grind, they can go in there. So that's where this team talks a lot and they have a process and they do all this, but they don't believe it and they don't put the work in. Okay, that's the part where, and I'm not talking about working, hitting in the cage. I'm talking about when you're in the game, are you doing everything possible to win the game? Okay,
bro,
that means that you don't tell your manager. You tell your man, and the Yankees are going through it right now. Like, oh, this guy's hurt. It's like, really? He's playing catch. Like, hey, buddy, you don't steal bases. You don't run. Your legs hurt. That's fine. Just hit. Why? Because you make my lineup better. You're in the lineup. You scare other guys. The other guys get pitched to. Simple. We just want you in the lineup. That's it. Frank Thomas was in the White Sox lineup with one leg just because he was Frank Thomas. Just because everybody knew that they would pitch everyone else different. Oh, that's Big Hurt, 35. Look at the stats. Don't pitch.
We got to get around and pay to pitch the next dude. Next dude, your turn to eat.
And this problem goes way beforehand, man. I there's a moment for me that sits in my head, and White Sox fans say, "Oh, you're cruel, you're evil." In Oakland, okay. And this is for a guy that they love like a father. Everybody's a father for them. They're like orphans. As my father figure. Like, guys, Jesus, like, figure it out. Rick Renteria, who I believe had a great relationship with these players.
Yes.
Very great relationship. They love Rick. Okay, so it's like when a team loves you, you do things, and that's something Ozzie went through that because Ozzie's first players that he managed, that core, they would do anything for Ozzie to this day. Like, they are wired. They're like, those are his guys. When he started getting new players, and that happened later in his career, he had a hard time if guys were not wired like that. And that's where a clash started happening. You can go a list of players, great players, by the way, great human beings, great people. But there was those clashes because they weren't Ozzie's guys. And Ozzie wanted his guys to be, everyone to be like those guys. So there was a clash. Eloy Jimenez leaves the game in Oakland, not running at second because his leg is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're in the playoffs, man. This is a guy that is your manager who's been battling with you 100-game losing seasons. You're going to leave because your leg's bad? I'm staying in this game till my whole team tears up.
Falls off.
And I have the whole offseason to recover. I'm staying in this game because why? That's my... So that message, even
that's my commitment to you as a manager, to you as my teammates, to you as my fans.
I'm staying here till my leg falls off. Why? Because we are this close to being there. And that's the part where, since that moment, I'm like, that's a moment that reflects on me that says, can these guys ever buy into someone? Because if they didn't buy into Ricky, who they loved, who did everything for them, who rode those 100-game losing seasons, who was there from the start, I was like, I don't know if these guys can ever do it for anybody because everybody's tried everything. I was like, maybe these guys just don't care in that point of like, they're just good baseball players. They don't care about winning that much. And that's a concern because you could be a great baseball player and not care about winning. And that's something that when you look at it and you say, you got Bryce Harper, man, last year playing like he can't play catch, only can swing, probably in pain 24/7. And there's stories for a million guys like that, but he's in the lineup every day. That's where I'm like, wait, I understand if you get like a blown ACL.
It's kind of tough to stand and swing when you got blown ACL.
But if you got injuries, and Moncada gets hated on the most, but I think that him trying to play through stuff has actually hurt his back more. I think his back is really messed up, with a herniated disc and whatnot. But it goes back to that of like, are they doing everything and buying into that point? And if you fire Pedro, for example, which what fans want,
it's
letting them win again. They're on their third manager.
Not going to be on their fourth.
I would literally walk in and say, hey, guys, and Ozzie used to say, you guys got Jerry Manuel fired. And Ozzie was like, Jerry Manuel's a very good manager. So imagine you're the guy who replaced him saying, that guy was a good manager. I thought he was a great manager. And you guys got him fired. You guys are not getting me fired. So if Pedro Grifol, I know he's a baseball guy, he knows that Tony La Russa was a good manager. Meaning Tony knows what he was doing. So like you guys got that guy fired and the guy before that fired. Like that's not going to happen to me. So he needs to go down on his way because he's not just baseball's watching him, man. He's not just the White Sox. If he does it the wrong way here, he ain't never going to manage another team. He might be a coaching and his bench. This is that part that's scarier. His bench coach is a former Major League Baseball manager.
Yeah,
so I'm like, hire Pedro so I don't know the situation. So for him, sometimes like when he's going, I'm like, dude, go down swinging on your terms. Like bench people if you have to bench them. If you don't want to play Moncada, Moncada's my boy. Moncada's my friend, a family friend. And if the manager says I'm benching Moncada, then you're benched because he thinks that his team's better without you on it. And you ask for a trade, you ask to be moved, whatever you need to do. But I think Pedro needs to go down with his way. Just like I would tell Ozzie, just like I would tell you if you're managing, you need to go down your way. If I got to give you one advice, hey, bro, go down your way.
Yep. I couldn't agree more, bro. I couldn't agree more. And that's why I want Pedro to be a little more of a jag bag. And, when you're not hustling.
He has it in him. And
he looks like he could.
You look at his eyes, and my favorite Pedro moment. I said, this guy knows baseball. When he got thrown out the first time, the second time, when they threw at somebody and they threw the guy, they did the warnings and he ran out, and he was like in his face, and you can tell him saying, "You got to give me an effing chance." Okay, those words in the baseball world, I don't care how analytical he is. That's like, okay, this guy's in the game. He's saying, no. Do not give warnings. I need to protect my guys. You're not taking this out of my hands. So this guy's a baseball guy. Okay. Inside all of the way that he talks and all that, he's a baseball guy. And his career proves it. So from that sense, that's why I'm like, sometimes I'm like, dude, rip him. He's playing horrible defense. Call it out. You know he is. I know that. I can tell you on TV that you think that he's playing horrible defense. I'm at home thinking it. Why wouldn't you think it? You know more about baseball than I do. And that's when people don't realize that when Ozzie gets frustrated is because you know better. He's like, you are a baseball man. Like, you know the game. You are a manager for a reason. And don't let the fans, the media, the players change your ways. And that was the best part about seeing Bruce Bochy this past week, man. He looks great health-wise, but he's Bruce Bochy. He's not trying to play something else, which I think was the problem with Tony. He tried to become something that he wasn't. Bochy's being Bochy.
Yeah.
You know, and I asked him, I said, hey, man, what are you doing with the analytics? They have it here, but he's like, I have coaches for that. They go and implement it, and we have it in the meetings. So I hope that Pedro, whatever his future lies, I think that he should finish out his contract, number one. But I also think that he should go down with his way. And when they ask him, hey, why is the lineup like this? It's my lineup. People are like, why? It's his lineup. At the end of the day, I hope that he's making the lineup. And if he wants to hit somebody wherever, just say, hey, it's my lineup. Why? Because I'm the manager. And until I'm no longer the manager, you can like it or not. But I just think it's ironic that all these people that were like, it's going to be an analytical manager and it's going to be all that's, we're going to have 7,000 different lineups with the best hitter hitting always third. And it hasn't been like that because I think a lot of people pretend to be analytical to get the job. It's the buzzword.
Yeah. Hey, last question before we let you go, Papa. As you know, I love chopping it up with you. Tim Anderson's having a rough time. All right. He's got a lot of things going on personally. And it's affecting him on the field. What should the Sox do for him? Now, mind you, like I get it. He's got his whole situation, the extra situation that he's got over there, but this is all shit that you brought in yourself. Okay, this is not
the off-field stuff, man. If Tim Henderson had like a crack problem, like he was a drug addict, and by the way, I'm a recovering member of the recovery community, so I can say it and not feel bad at all. I'd say he had an issue, gambling problem, or he's waving guns on on the TV or something like a real like that. To me, that's like you're having like real problems.
No, but here's what I'm saying though. Like, but think about it. But put yourself in that position because that's his son now, and he's spending time with his son. Remember, he was just on Pivot a couple weeks ago. Like, that's mine. I'm gonna claim it. How difficult is that going to be when he brings his son home? Now, to his wife,
I think that he's going to have to deal with it mentally wise. Number one,
that's what I'm saying.
I think I think that he's got the most important thing for him personally. I think that the support of his wife, that she's on board with him,
as a kid, we deal with the kids fine, but dealing with you on the other hand, like when you're with the son, I get it. He didn't ask to be here. He has nothing to do with this. But when he's gone, like, you know what? We all know
65% of Major League Baseball players have marital problems.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Again, so for me, I guess I'm a cool person when it comes to that. I think Tim.
So what else? What do you think it is? Just a bad year for him, or what?
I think that the leg situation is very concerning to me. I think that when you look at the charts of where he's been injured, I think that the leg situation is very concerning. He's such a freak athlete that it probably hasn't affected him like it would affect other guys.
Yeah.
If I was TA and I was TA's agent, I would take care of that ASAP, meaning I would go outside the organization and try to find the best way to get better leg-wise because his legs are important to him in that position. Yeah. I think that I would, for him, man, I think it's getting back to fundamentals. I think that talking about the ego and checking your ego aside, if TA leaves the Chicago White Sox, he is not hitting anywhere near the 4-1 spot in many teams. I think he might be hitting later on. He might not be playing shortstop. Again, what's better for the team? I think that he puts that. I feel at times that he's put pressure on himself, okay, to be this superstar, to be the walk-off guy in Iowa, to be the guy that leads, the African community, for one, African American community. He is a face of baseball. Like, he can still be all that and just be Tim. Okay, he doesn't have to be Mike Trout. That's what people don't get. You can love Tim Anderson because when you go to the game, you say that guy looks like me. Okay, and he can make a lot of money, but you don't have to perform at the level of like Frank Thomas. You can be Ozzie Guillen, and people are still love you. Like, if Venezuelan goes to a game and they love Ozzie just like they would love Frank Thomas. Why? Because you're like, that guy looks like me. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what team represents. So I think number one, he's put a lot of pressure on himself. I think that for him is going to be hard. I think that his numbers are going to be good. I don't think that the way that he was a player to be great it's very hard because he puts the ball in play so much. Okay? There's no more shifts. He doesn't walk a lot. So when those balls are not dropping, the average takes a hit. Okay? So it's because he's literally, when you look at it, he's an anomaly of the game. Like, he puts the ball and it was going in play. So I think he's a very solid player, superstar, like a superstar, like a guy that you build around and he's the number one guy. I don't think that he is, which is fine. From a White Sox standpoint, though, he loves Chicago, which is great. That's the number one thing. He wants to be here. Who's your future shortstop and second baseman? That's the first thing you got to ask yourself. Are they going to be better than TA in the next 5-6 years? Do we want to build around TA because, meaning him being part of the next build? I think fans love him, so that's not a problem. I think people will come to the stadium to watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to pay him the numbers? I don't think this year he gets moved because he has one more year under contract, unless the offer is really good. But you need to start making that decision like Lucas Giolito.
Right.
What is the future with TA? Man, there's not a lot out there. So when you think Tim Anderson's not a very good shortstop, defensively and offensively, and you look at the options, TA looks way better than a lot of people think that he would look.
Yeah, my biggest thing, like I said, I'm worried about his mental state, just because of I know how that I've seen it from other people, from other athletes.
I think it's an off year. I think it's an off year.
That's why I asked you. Like, do you think it just is because that he may be handling it?
So I'm thinking for him personally, he's gonna have to obviously get better for him, regardless of where he's playing. I think that for him is an off year, injury, personal.
I'm gonna be honest, whole perfect storm of bad is what you're saying.
In the White Sox that I am the least blaming for this year's performance is Tim Anderson. Why? Tim Anderson was playing very well when the team wasn't doing very good. He can't be great all the time. So for me personally, number one, he's got the most friendly team contract on the team. He was doing amazing when the team sucked. So he deserves an off year. If he sucks next year and the year after that and whatnot, then I'll judge TA a little bit harder. But he deserves an off year and an off half, because he struggled from the All-Star break of last year to potentially the All-Star break of this year. So if he goes off in the second half and has a great second half, then the waves of that, again, he's been on the field and he's gotten hurt. Maybe mentally wise he wasn't there. I think that his ability is still there. When I look at, again, analytics people look at it. Exit velocity of the ball, the way that he puts the ball in play, those numbers are still there. Defensive wise, I think he's still better than he was when he first started.
I'd agree.
I think sometimes mentally the errors are mental. So I think you can
definitely agree.
Never play in Cleveland, because every time he plays in Cleveland, I don't know why. It's just that he has really bad games in Cleveland, but I think he can make that better. And people say, he can play. I said, it's a great option. He can play second. He can play eventually somewhere else. But he's a shortstop. And no one's been on the team yet. There has not been one prospect. Popeye, Montgomery, anyone you want to name that are better than Tim Anderson today. Okay? Because if Montgomery was that good, he would have been called up in the beginning of the year to take his job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. So, like Elvis Andrus, he's older. Elvis is not going to get younger. So, from a shortstop standpoint, the White Sox have not shown me a better option than Tim Anderson to take over that position. That's why I give, it's an off year. I write him out and see what's up, unless I get an offer
that you can't refuse.
And a lot of teams might do that because they're like, this guy still has something left. We'll have him from 1 year. If it doesn't work out, then we'll let him go. So I think that Tim, you put Tim Anderson in a team when he doesn't have to be the man, and you can hide him in the 6-7 spot. I think he's an RBI guy, because he's going to put the ball in play. Runner on third, he's going to bring it in. He's going to move the runner. He likes the spotlight, big games. He's a put me in the lights. Tim does not suck on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Check his stats. He loves he loves it. He loves the attention. I think he's still a great guy when it comes to that. But here he's become the main guy. He needs to have, other guys protect him, that he doesn't have to be the dude.
He'd be a phenomenal Robin to someone's Batman.
Correct. He'll be like, don't put pressure on him, do his thing. And by the way, when TA starts going, man, and he gets confident, he gets going, he'll let
he can carry for a while.
His energy, he has the flashes of the game of like, okay, this guy, you can see the mantra and his swagger and his way that he carries. But like when you have to be the guy like that 24/7 for him in his position, I think that he's better off not being the fan. People say he's a leader. Who cares if he's a leader or not? The manager needs to be a leader. Let TA be, but I don't blame him for the time he's being like he's having an off time. And I still think that he can bounce back. I really do, because his injuries are not chronic, and I think he can get better for them.
You know, you can tell when he's feeling himself, because that's when he's going opposite field. He's going oppo.
Oh, yeah.
He's going oppo, and he's
the ball from second to first, and the ball's just driving.
Yeah.
Home run numbers, I don't care, to be honest, because that's not his game. I think that once he starts feeling the bat and his bat stroke gets better, he will start hitting balls out.
Yeah, they'll come.
And again, I hope that he's not thinking I need to hit home run.
Yeah,
he's not a home run hitter. I'm like, dude, hit the ball opposite side. You know,
ain't that crazy? It's like you don't focus on home runs, focus on contact, focus on good at bats. Oh, in opposite field, they're going to pitch you away, and guess what? More homers come.
Shawn, he's done it. The reason that I believe in Tim Anderson is that Tim Anderson has done it.
Dude, he's batted 300 for like the last 3 years, 4 years.
He's
so
done it.
He's got it. You know what I mean?
He's done it. There's nothing scarier than going from AAA to the big leagues. Tim Anderson has done it. Okay, he's had the makeup. He was part of a 90-game winning team. He has done it. So I need to believe in him and say, this guy still has something left in the tank. I'm not ready to just go in. By the way, you think your team's bad now? Remove Tim Anderson from the lineup and put whoever at shortstop for 162 games. And let's see how it could go really bad, guys. Like, it could get a lot worse. Like, they're not a World Series championship team, but they still have guys that when they're healthy and you see the production, it's been better. And again, a lot of times we're harder on these guys and hard because the wins are not there. But when you look at their numbers, a lot of teams are like, ooh, this guy, you know. Yeah. And again, the defensive stuff is stuff that compacts. And I think that maybe when he's not there, I think the defense, I'm more worried about the defense with his mental stuff that he's going through than the offense. Because when you're hitting, you don't have time to think about my life and my family.
You got 0.4 seconds.
I hope this guy does not, you're hitting, so you're just playing. When you're at shortstop,
I don't want any chim music.
Dude, when you're playing and you're in defense and the game's going bad, and you're thinking, oh man, I'm gonna have to call home after the game, or this is going on. I gotta pay my taxes. I gotta call the child care. Your mind's just going, oh, ground ball, oh crap. The defensive part, I'm more concerned with it because you have a lot of time to think. So I hope that he has a process and stuff to just be able to stay, because I think for him is a focus thing. And it's not just offensively.
Everybody.
It's a focus thing. And man, he hasn't played a lot of baseball when you come life-wise. So like they played the Dodgers where he went to second, okay, instead of going to first with Elvis, and Elvis was not in the bag. Yes, it's common sense. You go to first, that's to play every day. But again, I'm not a coach there. I'm not in the dugout. But if I was around to hear it, I would hope the coach is telling him, hey, Tim, out's at first, not second. Because with his ability, he's like, oh, I'm going, because
it's right here.
Technically, your shortstop your second baseman should be there. But that's not the normal play. So I would be constantly, if it's a mental lapse thing, I'd stay on top of him. Like Joy Cora used to be like, if a guy gets mentally lapsed, you got to remind him. The Drummond caught at third base, hey, the line, because they're not in the game. There's guys like AJ Brzezinski, Ozzie, Anthony Rizzo. There's nothing that happens in the game that they don't know about. Like they're just that in tune with the game.
Right.
Naturally. Andrew Vaughn seems to be that way, where you're the guy saying, hey, this is what's happening, moving. There's guys that just need to be moved, and that's just happens. There's just guys that are more in tune to the game, and maybe Tim Anderson, he needs a guy that needs a little help with like, hey, move here, move there, and that's what coaching is. You can't expect him to like learn all these plays and like learn everything. You need help. That's why coaches are there for him. If not, just put robots.
Exactly. You still need to coach them up. Hey, Papa, great stuff, man. As always, me and you we could talk the rest of the damn show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, Papa. We'll talk to you. Hey, before you go, let everyone know where they can find you. And
OG and Junior on Twitter, and we have a show going out weekly called The Blackout on the podcast. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, The Blackout. Myself, Slacco, Jay, and Chris Gonzalez. We talk about the White Sox. We try to break it down a little bit deeper, more than just talking about exit velocity and whatnot. So it's a fun show, and we try to keep it 100% honest. at all times. We even critique Ozzy and Chuck. We just try to keep it honest throughout as much as possible. So check us out there, The Blackout, on Twitter as well.
Great stuff, man. We'll be in touch soon.
I'll talk to you soon, man.
Hey, you're gonna be going on to the NASCAR thing?
You know what? My brother Osney was in town, and he was inviting me for it, and I thought about it, but not sure yet. But I kind of want to. I've never been to one, so
neither have I. I may, if I do go.
Let me know.
We're trying to get credentials. I'll probably go Sunday because Saturday's my mom. The first is my mom's birthday, so we got a party in them for her. So if I do go, it'll be Sunday.
I'll let you know, man. Big hugs.
All right, cool, Papa.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye. Guys, that's Ozzie Guillen Jr. talking baseball. Man, a whole hour. Woo, Charlie, that was one heck of an interview, man. It did he not say exactly what I've been saying? They are not dedicated. They are not obsessed with winning. They are not obsessed with winning. And that's the problem. To me, that's the problem. As a pro athlete, you should be obsessed. Everyone is not. I get it. You get guys in high school, you even get some guys in college who are not obsessed with winning. Their talent takes them there. But in my humble opinion, if you get to the league, whatever, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, you need to be obsessed. And some people get there with talent. Some people get there with a little work. They get a little money. And especially if the contract's guaranteed, they're chill. They're chill. That's not the time to chill. That's the time to kick it in overdrive. You heard Ozzy say it. I've been saying this to you guys for the last, how many months? Even back to last year. I questioned their dedication to being great. I questioned their dedication to being great. And now Ozzy Jr. just echoed my sentiments. Man, God bless it. Damn White Sox. All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have more sports conversations, so don't go anywhere, folks. We got a lot to talk about, baby. Let's keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JQuickReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My feature stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Irvin. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoynereports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoyne.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's been a long night, but it's an important day in the NBA, important day for franchises, and it was an exciting night. We acquired rights to a player that we liked, and we're very excited about it. And now our focus is shifting to free agency. All our group is going to focus on that and how we can improve our team.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. That was Acme. You saw both of them. That was Arturas Karnisovas talking. Bulls got involved last night. They got involved in the NBA draft. They got it 35th pick, second round, 35th pick overall. And let me tell you something. People were underwhelmed. I had no idea. I was out yesterday at an event. I had no idea. It was so bad, people didn't even talk about it. All right? They didn't even talk about it. No one said, oh, the Bulls got traded back into the second round, but nothing. Nothing. It was just, this guy is a project at best. So, it's frustrating because of the fact that, listen, there's a lot that this Bulls team needs. There's a lot, okay? And they're not doing anything for them. All right, they're hamstrung. They need shooters. You got to figure out: are you gonna sign? I think they're extending qualifying offers to Kobe and Io. Like, are you gonna bring those guys back? Okay, cool. But who's gonna run the point? They understand that they're running a point, that they need a point guard. They understand that. Check this out. So they even talked about it because they realized that Lonzo has some issues. Listen, this was part of the more of the press conference a little later. Here's what they had to say.
Your ESPN. It's been a few months since Lonzo has had his surgery. What's new? What's the latest on him? Is he able to do anything? And kind of where is he at this point?
Well, he's recovering nicely. I think last month he got off the crutches and, he's recovering, doing his rehab. Everything is going well. Going into off season, I think our expectation is that he's not coming back next season and he's going to continue on his recovery. If he comes back, it would be great. But we're just going to treat this off season and getting ready for the season that he's not going to be back next season.
That was the most honest answer I've heard a GM talk about somebody, a player, one of their players. I think they've had obviously GMs had this conversation behind closed doors. Okay, and not just in this Lonzo case, but in other cases as well. They're like, okay, we can't expect this guy to come back. Let's move forward. But for him to say that to the fans shows that they're going to make a concerted effort to fill that point guard position. And it can't just be anybody. The skill set that he brings to the point guard position, this was actually the perfect fit. Okay, the perfect fit. You got a guy who can facilitate. Okay, you got a guy who can hit the three, the wide open three when people collapse and they rotate and he's wide open. He can hit the three, and you got a guy who played phenomenal defense. So you got a guy. That's the trifecta for a point guard position. Now, there are guys out there, but many guys will have one of the three. Some will have two. Very little, if any, are going to have all three of those characteristics. So if they don't have these characteristics, which two do you want? Do you want the defense and the playmaking ability? Do you need the three-point shot and the playmaking ability? I think in my estimation, I would take a point guard who can facilitate and hit the open three. You need shooters. Continue to give them shooters. Because that's what we're missing. Patrick Williams has to develop. Kobe White has to continue developing. Io has to continue developing. And then if you get a point guard in there who can shoot the wide open three, oh man, now you're cooking with gas. But you got to find those guys. You got to find those guys. And that's the key. You know, I'm a little annoyed with the draft pick yesterday. Like, you jumped in. I get it. You got to find a dance partner. You have to. Okay? But 35th? For real? 35th is the best you could do? If that's the case, stay the hell out of the draft. Stay out of the draft. And I couldn't find what's going back, what they gave up for this to get into the draft, the 35th slot. You know, if you're going to get a guy who's a project, there's so many talented guys who go undrafted. Bring in a whole bunch of those guys in. Because to jump in the draft to say this is what we got in the draft is underwhelming. It's underwhelming. And this is the same type of shit that's going on in the White Sox. Just bullshit moves that are stupid. This guy is a project. Everything I've heard from this morning, everything I've read, everything I've heard, he's a project. So now you got to know another 3 years before this guy is viable. Didn't you get a project in Dan and Terry last year? You know, this is the thing that bothers people. This is the thing that pisses people off. They're fans. So now you got another project. Dan and Terry, that project isn't even developed yet. It's not even developed. So you're sitting there. I'm sitting here, and I'm like, what the fudge crackers, man? They're killing me. You know, I don't know how other Bulls fans feel, except for the people I was around yesterday. But God bless it, man. Dude, the Bulls organization, no, man, that's who pissed at my Cheerios this morning. You jump into the 35th pick? Now, if that was a second pick in your of the draft for you that night, okay, I get it. That's all you did. You jumped into the draft for this? When you haven't shown that your player development department is top notch? Yes, I've seen improvement in Kobe White. I've seen improvement in Io. I've seen that. But not to the point where I'm like, okay, these guys are really developing our players. Dalen Terry, he should be in part of that in that development process. He should be in it. We should see big strides from him this year. Which, by the way, I liked what I saw from him last year. I did. The kid's young, he's energetic. Shit, they have to, dude, they got to make moves in free agency. They have to. You know? The guy that just opted out of his contract. Derek Jones Jr. just opted out of his contract. So he's out, he's gone, so you need to replace him. Is this the guys they want to replace him? Like, come on, man. I just don't know. I'm losing more and more faith by the day when it comes to this Bulls team. By the day. And it's frustrating because you have pieces. I'm telling you, I'm looking at Denver, what they did. I'm like, okay, where's our guys? All right. You got to re-sign Vooch. Okay, I get it. He's your poor man's Joker. Okay, I see it. I can see how you can use him as a facilitator, as a three-point shooter, as a guy in a low block. He can do it all. Okay, cool. Where are my shooters? Patrick Williams. I know you led the team in three-pointers, but damn it, shoot more. Shoot more. I hear you, Cornelius, and I don't know how much I want to buy that. I'll buy it maybe 25 to 40%, somewhere in there. But you got to play. You got to play. All right, you got to take more three-point shots. How many times are we passing up three-point shots for the extra pass? How many times are we passing up a three-point shot because someone's closing out? Guess what? They close out in the NBA. They come after you if you shoot a three-point shot. You have to get that shot off quicker. So I'm not sure about Billy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame by any stretch. But man, at some point the players got to play. If you realize you're the worst three-point shooting team in the league, shoot more threes. If you have the least amount of three-point shots, shoot more threes. That's a crazy idea. We need to shoot more threes. What should we do? Shoot more threes. You know, this Bulls team could be a perennial playoff contender right now. Championship contender, not even close. However, you want to keep fans excited. You know what I mean? You want to keep fans engaged. You want to keep that United Center packed. Vernon, way too soon. Way too soon. Way too soon. But man, dude, I talked about it the other day. Come on, Patrick Williams. This is your 4th year in the league. Stop with the baby bullshit. I have to defer to DeMar and Zach. No, damn it, take over. Let them know your nuts have dropped as well. You're a grown-ass man who can score. You're a grown-ass man who can play. Stop with the nonsense. All right? We're wired differently. Growing up, we're wired. Didn't matter who was on the court. You always try to, hey, I can play. And he wants to defer. And here's where Billy does come in. Cornelius, here's where Billy does come in. Get your ass on the second unit, and I need you to go ham. I need you to drop 20 to 30 points a game for that second unit. That's what I need. Don't worry about defending until you come up with the first unit. The first unit, don't worry about it. I'll put you. I need you to play defense, guard the top scorer. But when you're in that second unit, P. Will, I need you to go nuts. I need you to hit threes. I need you to drive to the hole. I need you to dunk on people. I need to turn around jumpers. I need some middies. I need some layups. This is what I need from you. Score. I agree with you as well, Cornelius. You heard me say it. He's the best. Zach LaVine is the best catch and shoot guy we got on the team. One of the better ones in the NBA. Why isn't he running off screens? Why isn't this guy running off screens? Why is he running off screens, making dudes chase him like Reggie Miller used to do, like Rip Hamilton used to do, like Ray Allen used to do, like Steph does, like Clay does? Why isn't this guy running off of screens? Having dudes go between 1, 2, 3 screens to get to him. Why? That's coaching. That's coaching. No, man, I agree. He put that team together. He put that Denver team together. I'm like, okay, give Chicago that style team. Give us that style team. You did it over there, do it here. But again, I see the pieces, the Vooch. All right. He's not at the level of Jokic, but Vooch is still has those skills, just not as high. Vooch can bang down lows. Vooch can hit the midi. Vooch can hit the three. Vooch can facilitate. We've seen it all. But now we need the shooters. So do we need to? What kind of point guard do you want? Do you want a guy just to facilitate, or do you want like a Jamal Murray type of point guard? A guy who can score and who's one of your key contributors. You got to figure that out. You also not only have to figure it out, you got to figure out who's available if that's your type of guy. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, you talk about upsetting the apple cart. I get it. But that has nothing to do with Kobe White's development as a three-point shooter, Ayo's development as a three-point shooter, Patrick Williams' development as a three-point shooter. You know, those are things they need to work on. Those are things they need to do. Like, you need to, in your role as a team, you got to get better at your role. You have to be the best at your role. So you might not have the point guard. We're still hitting three-point shots. We might not just get open looks because of the fact that we don't have a great point guard. But you're still going to be able to get open looks because of the fact that we're moving the ball. So even the backup point guard should be able to facilitate. We should have good ball movement, which means guys should be rotating. Should be one guy wide open. Boom, one pass, two pass to the corner. Pop, let's go. Man, they need to bring in somebody, man. Like, what more do you need to do than just shoot? You know, like, if I need to become a better shooter, I'm gonna shoot. Like, my off season is dedicated to 1,000 or 2,000 shots a day. And not no looks either. No. Listen, you got more than enough money. More than enough money. You could have someone pass you the ball and then close out on you. You can have, and you simulate coming off a screen. You simulate catching and shooting. You simulate all this stuff. Then you go and you play. Then you run some games, whether you're in LA, whether you're in Miami, wherever you live. Muscle memory. You're damn right, Nomad. Reps. See, this is the thing. And this is what I talk about when I was talking about my White Sox. How bad do you want to be the best? Are you obsessed with being the best? Do you think Steph Curry was obsessed with being the best? Hell yeah. Why? Because he was 6 foot nothing. He's skinny. He's light in the ass. You can't do it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to outshoot your ass. I'm going to outshoot you. When I come across half court, I'm in range. And I'm going to work on every single shot this side of half court, sometime maybe any other side of half court. I don't see that determination. There's a look at, listen, I'm telling you from experience, because I've had that look in my eye. I've coached players with looks in that eye. When you put in that work and you say, let me have the ball. Whether it's a running back or a quarterback, say, coach, I got it. Or when I was coaching basketball, coach, I got this guy. Don't worry about it. I got it. You have that look in your eye. They don't have that defiant look like, I got this. Don't worry about it. I'm going to nail this 3. Why do you think Larry Bird talks so much shit? Why do you think Michael talks so much shit? Why do you think Reggie Miller talks so much shit? Why? Because they put in the work. Because great players don't do it until they get it right. Great players do it till they can't get it wrong. And that's the mentality. I think guys are doing it till they get it right. It has to go until you can't get it wrong. If they move Zach, I'm cool with it. You know my feelings on Zach. He's not the dude you build around anyway. He started to show flashes of it, but still, I don't think he's strong enough up there. Call me crazy. I've been called worse. You know, But, man, our teams are in a state of flux right now. The Bears are the best team we have, and they had 3 wins last year. They're trending in the right. They're the team that's trending the best right now. They're trending the best. Don't get me wrong. I love talking Bears. And, and why do I like talking Bears? Because what they're doing is the way you build an organization. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer. They're building it right. They're building it through culture. They're building it through draft picks. They're building it with everybody from the front office to the coaching staff on the same God-blessed page. So let's see what moves that they make. What's your first move? Do they go get a point guard? Do they trade for one? Do you go get a rim protector? Do you go get a shooter? You have a lot of holes to fill on this Bulls team. Do you anticipate, or do you anticipate Patrick Williams taking a step forward? Because I don't see any of our guys as a dead-eye three-point shooter. There was a stretch in the year that Kobe was one that I called him a dead-eye shooter. Yeah, that was a stretch of the season. It wasn't the whole season. We as Bulls fans need him to be a dead-eye shooter all 82. And I get it. He's going to here and there. You're going to have it. But, I mean, you got a game plan like, I cannot leave this guy open. I can't. Look at Aaron Murray. Look at Michael Porter Jr. Look at Dame. Look at all these other three-point specialists. You leave them open for half a second and you don't rotate fast enough, or you miscommunicate and he's wide open, they're draining it in your face. So I'm anxious to see. I'm telling you, I want to see these guys develop. Patrick Williams, it's do or die for me this year, Papa. It's do or die for me. It's that mentality. And then watch him leave, go somewhere else and become an all-star like Lowry. Is Andre Drummond going to get more time? I don't know. I hope so. And I know, here's the thing. Andre Drummond, he's got to chill. Listen, you got to chill. Little EPMD. You got to chill. Because sometimes he gets a little too crazy himself. All right, you're not the 20-point scorer. You're not the walking double-double like you were 8 years ago, Papa. All right? But what you are, you're a grown-ass man getting some grown-ass rebounds down low. Okay? Continue to do that. Continue to do that. Yeah, Vernon, he's only a star. He's only a star. He's not a superstar. For me, he was in the bottom tier of the superstar category. Remember, I was talking to Shawn Davis. 100% agree, Cornelius. 150 freaking percent. If he was aggressive, if he played like he plays in the summer league, if he plays like that 82 games a year, this guy's an all-star. Dude, this dude is doing everything in summer league, in training over the summer. You talk mid-range. You talk about driving. You talk about hitting threes. You talk about facilitating. You talk guard. This dude does everything with an attitude, with a little bit of arrogance, like I am better than you. Where the hell is that shit in the regular season? Oh, let me defer to Zach. Let me defer to DeMar. Let me defer to Vooch. This is where Billy Donovan comes in and says, you don't defer to anybody. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put you on a second unit so you are the best dude on the court. You're the best Mother Hubbard on the floor. But Billy hasn't done that. You and Andre Drummond. So anything you miss, Andre Drummond gets it and puts it back with authority. Io can work on his three-point shot with the second unit. Like you're our second unit sniper. Or even Kobe, you're our second unit sniper. Like I'd love to see their rotations, their substitutions. I have to take a look at that. Because I want some guys to play both with the second unit and the first unit. And some guys can be interchanged. Because you got to get Caruso in. Well, you got to sign Caruso. But Vernon, you're asking me, what is DeRozan going to look like next year? I don't know. Zach's getting a little more ballsy. All right, this is my team. I'm the man. I signed the max. I'm going to do this. But until you stop turning the God blessed ball over, making stupid basketball plays, I don't think Zach's the dude. What's DeMar going to look like? Is he just playing out his contract? Is he saying, okay, Zach, it's your squad? Is he coming in thinking he's going to get moved? I don't know. If they keep him, they might move him. Nomad, you're talking about, yeah, that's it. 6'7", 6'8" defenders. Dalen Terry type. Or Dalen Terry. You said Jalen. Vernon. Yeah, Dalen Terry. No, I like it. I hear you, Nomad. Get long, lanky guys, but they can't just be defensive players. They got to be able to hit a three. They got to be able to they got to have some offensive potency. And let me think about this. If you want them to start winning with defense, okay, then I see what you're doing. But you still need to get at least one dead-eye three-point shooter in free agency. One. Kobe White can continue to develop. He can continue to get better. But you get one guy who comes in, you're like, oh, shit. They got a three-point shooter. And now it takes a lot of pressure off of Kobe because everyone's looking at him. So there's a lot that this Bulls team needs to get done. A lot. And yesterday didn't help. All right, this dude's a project. Yeah, they do. No, man, they add a lot of hell yeah, they add a lot of value. So again, if you want to build through the draft with defensive players, okay, cool. You'll be able to win some games. You'll be able to make the playoffs. I mean, we're not going to Eastern Conference Finals or the finals. But if that's the way you want to start to build the construction of your team, okay. But then you better make sure you go get a dead-eye three-point shooter. You better make sure that you run sets that accentuate Zach LaVine's skill set, DeMar's skill set. What are you going to do in a point guard? These are all things that you got to get done if you want this team to be a playoff contender. I don't know. I think the most fun I'm going to have going to United Center this year is a Windy City Smokeout coming up in a couple weeks. I'm not even a country music guy, but man, that shit was fire last year. It's like the 6th year, 8th year. I'm going to go again. I think I'm going to work it again this year. Man, that's the most fun I'm having going to the United Center in their parking lots. Anyway, hey, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to bring in our guy, Michael Boland. Like I said, there was this thing called the draft or something that happened yesterday. And I want to see his thoughts. His thoughts on our Bulls. What do they do? His thoughts on the trades. There's some nice trades some shocking trades before the draft. So we're going to talk to him on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Just keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms. On Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel, you can find us at Sports Zone Chicago. And on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JCourtneyReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoynereports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoyne.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of ESPN. That's the newest Chicago Bull. Who? Yeah, that's what I said. Who? What the? How the? You know, but when you pick 35th, you're probably not going to have a good idea of who the hell you're getting. All right. That was Julian Phillips from Tennessee, 6'5-ish, 6'6-ish. I'm going to give you the 6'7", 6'8-ish dudes, but I digress. My next guest is a good friend of the program. I'm excited to talk to him because I get his perspective. You know, I love getting a national perspective, okay? At least one from, 10,000 feet above the earth. And he's a senior NBA editor for CBS Sports. You can find him on Twitter at MBolandCBS. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Michael Boland. Michael, what's up, Papa? Good morning or good afternoon out by you.
No, it's still morning, but yeah, we're good. I'm Central Time Zone too. But
oh, you are?
Yeah, down in Nashville, we're Central. But yeah, good morning to you as well, my friend. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little annoyed with this draft. Julian Phillips,
Julian Phillips.
The Bulls they jumped back into the draft for this. Talk to me about your thoughts on the Bulls draft, Julian Phillips.
Well, obviously you said it yourself. I mean, 35th pick in the draft, second rounder, you never really know exactly what you're going to get. But I mean, I can tell you someone who I went to school in the SEC, so I follow the conference pretty closely. And obviously,
Okay.
Phillips is a Columbia, South Carolina native, and I went to the University of South Carolina, so I'm pretty familiar with him and have been for a little while now. It's a name that I've known for a bit. Obviously, big time athlete. Like you said, stands around 6'7", depending on what you want to believe in terms of measurements these days. But definitely a big time athlete. It's a guy who, I honestly thought he would probably go late first round. So him following the 35, considering some of the other things we saw last night, isn't a huge shock. But I mean, definitely a guy I think could ultimately become a contributor for Chicago. Maybe down the line. He's obviously still very young, only playing 1 year college hoops. But honestly, he's a guy that I've liked for a while now. And, all things considered, coming into the night, not really having any sort of draft capital to, I believe it was 2 second-round picks that Chicago traded for that draft spot.
Yeah, I was trying to figure. I didn't see it early on, but then the show started, and I didn't get a chance to see what the compensation was.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 future second rounders. So, I mean,
it has to be like 26 or 27 because then we don't have any second rounds this year or next year.
Yeah, no, I believe it was. It might have been 28. I'm not sure, but there were a lot of trades last night, so I got to go back and look at everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, for what they had to give up in terms of upside, at least, I think Phillips is a guy that ultimately will make the team and could down the line become a contributor in some way. The bigger thing for Chicago, obviously, with the Lonzo Ball news that came out yesterday, is point guard, but you weren't going to be able to address that at 35 either way. So that's going to be, if they do anything, I would imagine free agency would be where they turn there. But in terms of what you could get and who was available and the value, as well as the compensation they had to give up for it, I like the Phillips pick at 35 for Chicago.
Oh man, I don't even know what the heck happened. I was so mad I just left. So I'm concerned. All right, the Nuggets just won a title. I'm a little anxious because this guy is the guy who put together, constructed the Nuggets. So I'm like, okay, I can see what he's doing. All right. You got Vooch. You want to re-sign Vooch. He's your poor man's Jokic. We saw Vooch. Vooch can go down low. He can hit a three. He can facilitate. Okay, I get it. Your poor man's Jokic. Okay, cool. Where are my shooters? Where are my 6'8", 6'9" shooters? The Aaron Murrays, the Aaron Gordons, the Michael Porter Jr.'s. Like, where are those guys? So if you tell me Patrick Williams, okay, maybe he needs to get better. But give me some more of those guys. Kobe White's good, but he's what, 6'3"? I mean, I need some tall dudes, some long dudes. I need a rim protector. Talk to me about the overall construction and give me some of the holes that the Bulls need to assess now that the draft's over.
Oh, I think you just named two of the biggest ones right there. Obviously, every team in the league needs shooting. You even if you have it, you want more of it. And just
never have too much.
You never have too much. No, but just the way that their roster is constructed right now, there really isn't like a dead-eye 3-point shooter on the team, like you were saying. Yep. Levine, he's high volume, but he's not going to shoot a great percentage. DeRozan's the mid-range guy still, even though he's started to take more 3-pointers than he ever did in Toronto. But still, he's not going to be that guy. You got to find it somewhere. And it's going to be tough to find that on the free agent market just because everybody will be interested in those types of guys. But in terms of where it is now, I mean, it's got to come from these guys on the roster, like you said, a Patrick Williams. I think obviously he's going to have to play a much bigger role this year. I really don't know how much you really want to depend on playing DeRozan at the 4. So I could see him playing a lot more of that small forward and moving Levine from the 3 back to a 2. But in terms of just what they have, it's going to have to come from inside the roster, just because those players are tough to find in free agency, and obviously they're in high demand. So you end up probably having to pay more than you would like to for that type of a specialist or a 3-and-D type of guy, just because the demand is so high there. But just looking at the roster itself, I mean, Caruso, he's okay, like he's a decent shooter, but it's going to be on these guys to really put the work in and get better, because it's tough to find, and there's really just not a lot of great shooting on this roster, as you were alluding to already.
Michael, you caught the earlier part of my show, or we just think alike, because I said the way you become a good 3-point shooter is to shoot.
Yeah.
You got to get your ass out there and minimum 1,000 shots a day. All right. And not just the same ones. You got to be coming off screens. You got to be moving. You got to be flying to the left, got to fly to the right, feet unbalanced, feet balanced, fade away, everything. So you get 1,000 different shots. Then you got a guy who passes it to you and then maybe closes out on you. Like all these things that have to happen. And this is why for me, like with a Patrick Williams, I'm like, come on, dude, this is year 4. This is year 4, dude. Right? You're I don't need you deferring to anybody. I've seen you in summer league. I've seen you with the second unit. I've seen you with guys out injured, and you take over the game. Where the hell is that? I'm waiting for that to happen on a consistent basis. All right. Talk to me about Billy Donovan though, because Billy Donovan continues to refuse to put him at the second unit and say go ham. All right, go score 30. Because when I need you, I want. We know he can score. What his issue is a confidence. That's the issue. And if you go and you give him every game, you're coming in, at 8 minutes, 8 minutes into the first quarter, all right, and you're going to 4 minutes, 5 minutes into the second quarter, that's your time to go ham. And when you know it, now you can, your mindset, you can gear up like, okay, I'm going to score. And if I need you late in the game, I can put you with the ones, and you're not afraid to score. How much is this Billy Donovan, and how much is it Patrick Williams?
It's a good question. Obviously having a defined role, knowing what is going to be asked of you night in and night out is something that, especially at the professional level, you makes life easier on you. You know what you're expected of, what's expected of you every time you step out on the floor. And that is obviously up to Billy Donovan. He's got to be the one who's laying out those defined roles for everyone on the team from top to bottom. And then it's on the player to execute. Whatever the game plan is that's put into place. So a lot of it's on Billy Donovan, but at the same time, it's and you reference it, it's having that instinct, that killer instinct to just come out there and whether it's like you said, coming out there for the second unit, finishing out the first quarter, starting the second, or being out there with the starters to start the game. If your role is to be a scorer, is to be someone where the offense is going through you, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to go out there and execute. And it's on him to go be a killer, because like you said, it's coming into year 4 now. He's shown flashes of what he's capable of multiple times. Throughout his NBA career so far. Obviously, he's had some injury issues here and there, but the guy's plenty capable of doing exactly what you referenced. So it's on him to go out there and do it. But at the same time, it's Billy Donovan's job to put him in a position to succeed. And the entire coaching staff has to do that, not only for him, but for every player, if they want to maximize the potential on this roster. So, whether that's, schematics or just the way that, you approach him and how you describe what it is that you need out of him, that needs to be defined, and it needs to be something that's, set in stone and known for not only a guy like Williams, but, up and down this roster, because that's the only way you're going to really succeed. And that's how, at least what you see with successful teams, the Nuggets, for example, everyone on that team knew what their role was.
Bingo.
And then, we saw what happened this year with them. So, and Michael Malone did a great job with that team. So, yeah, a lot of it's on Billy Donovan. But once Billy Donovan puts into place what it is that him and the coaching staff wants, then it shifts on the players to execute. So it's a little bit of both.
Guys, we're joined by Michael Bolden from CBS Sports talking NBA draft right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Talk to me about it. There's a lot of activity before the draft. I mean, with trades. Holy shnikes. Talk to me about the Porzingis to Boston situation. Holy shnikes. Talk to me about that particular trade first.
Yeah, that was an interesting one going all the way down to the wire there on Wednesday night, in terms of Porzingis and his contract and having to get him moved out of Washington in time. And obviously the Wizards are going through a bit of a fire sale right now, so pretty much everything is available. But for Boston, I think it was a great pickup. Obviously, at least my opinion, I watched a lot of Wizards basketball, and I could say Porzingis probably had his best season as a pro last year in terms of offensive, defensive, rebounding, and just staying healthy for the most part. So adding that sort of skill set to a Celtics roster that is already very talented, and they really didn't have to give up much. I mean, Marcus Smart's a great player, but they have guards. They're going to be able to go out there and find other players to fill that role. And they needed another big.
Make sure as I got one.
They got one, and he'll take pressure off of Horford. He'll take pressure off of Robert Williams. He won't need to necessarily come in and be as big of a piece of the puzzle now as maybe he would have had to had this deal not come in. So yeah, I think it's a big win for the Celtics. They get more talented, and they still remain there as a threat at the top of the East with this deal.
I was surprised by it. I was really surprised by the second trade I'm going to ask you to discuss, and that's the Chris Paul trade to the Warriors, going back Jordan Poole, a whole bunch of Jordan, the double, a couple of picks, and the Jordan Poole thing. What's going on in Golden State? Talk to me about that trade.
I mean, I think this was really more of just like a salary dump type of deal for Golden State. Obviously, with the new CBA coming up here in the next couple of years, they're really going to hammer teams who are over that second luxury tax apron. And obviously, I'm not Mike Dunleavy or Bob Myers. I don't know exactly what was going on behind the scenes to make this decision. But, moving off of Jordan Poole's $140 million extension, which kicks in starting this season, to pick up, veteran Chris Paul, he'll solidify the second unit. During the playoffs, you can still finish games with him and Curry together at times. But moving off of Poole's long-term extended contract and a lot of money to Chris Paul, who's only guaranteed for this coming season, it definitely is a lot of salary cap relief for them. And in the short term, it probably gives them a better chance of, competing at that high level than they would have had if they would have just run it back with Poole again. And obviously for Poole, he gets to go to a situation now where he's going to have the eternal green light in Washington, just because who else is going to score the ball? So, he'll be in a situation where he'll be obviously able to showcase his skills a little bit more than he ever was in Golden State. And for the Warriors, they move off a young player, but they get a veteran who should be motivated to take on whatever role they ask of him, just because this is going to be the best opportunity he's ever had in his career to win a title.
What about two things? What about one of my guys here said he thinks the move was horrible by Boston, smart with their soul, but also more. Let me have that be question number two. Question number one is, how much do you trust Chris Paul to stay healthy? Dude's getting 38 years old, and he hasn't finished. He hasn't played. What is it? 65 is the new 82. Like if you play 65 games, like you're really healthy. What do you expect him to? What mark you said expect him to hit? Because obviously we know Chris Paul is not playing all 82. So where do you think? And that's the important thing is, like, if you get for what he got, you need him in the playoffs. Golden State needs people in the playoffs. They don't need Jack Spit in the regular season. They got that handled. Playoffs is another story. Now you got a point guard. Is he going to be available? Give me your thoughts on that trade. I mean, that part of the deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously health is always a big concern, but he's also going to be asked to do a lot less in Golden State than he's been asked to do pretty much at any other stop in his career at this point. He's not going to be playing 35, 40 minutes a game during the regular season. He'll probably be closer to 18 to 20. And, that should help keep him at least, if not healthy, at least fresh throughout the regular season. And then obviously come playoff time, that's where, he will be a bigger asset for them and hopefully a strength, especially in terms of closing games out. I really feel like that's where he's going to make the biggest difference for the Warriors, not only in the regular season, but in the postseason. In those clutch crunch time minutes is where he's going to be really useful the most, in my opinion.
But what about Draymond Green? Draymond Green opted out of his contract. He's a free agent. Why did he do that? And how bad or how much is that going to affect Golden State? Because he was their energy guy, their emotional guy. He was there. He did a lot of stuff you don't see in the stat in the scoreboard in the box score. He would get on people, get them off their game. Why do you think he opted out of his their player option?
I mean, I'm not as worried about that. I don't think that's as big of a thing. I mean, if you look at Milwaukee, Chris Middleton did the same thing. I honestly don't believe that he's necessarily going to leave the Bucks. And going back to what we were talking about with the Chris Paul, Jordan Poole trade, moving off of that Poole contract allows them the opportunity to maybe pay Green more than they would have been able to. So I still believe that, just from a financial standpoint, opting out was the right thing to do. And I believe Draymond Green's a Clutch Sports client, so those guys are always going to try and get their money.
Right.
So I'm not completely sold on the fact that he'll be leaving the Warriors at all. I just think this was a way for him to maybe get more security in terms of a longer-term deal, maybe at a slight discount. Not as much money overall, but at least more security and years on a contract. And like we were talking about with the CBA earlier, moving off of that Poole contract, getting out of that $140 million down the road, gives Golden State a little bit more flexibility to keep Green on their roster than they might have had before.
Denver is the new champ, so they're celebrating. They're high as a kite, pun intended, and their starters are signed for the next 2 seasons. Okay, everybody through the next 2 seasons. Talk to me about how you think they're going to fare next season. Are they going to have a championship hangover? Obviously there'll probably be some more moves made, trades, whatever. How high do you think they have a great shot of repeating? Is my question, or at least coming out of the West?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be right up there with the best teams in the Western Conference again. Obviously, as you said, we're trade season, free agency season is just getting underway now. So we'll see exactly how all these rosters look in the coming months before we get going here in October. But, that continuity is going to be something that only helps them, I think. Obviously, health is something that they need to be concerned about. There's, Porter Jr., Murray, those guys have all battled injuries before. So as long as they can stay healthy and on the court as a unit, they should be right up there at the top of the West again. Obviously, repeating is very difficult to do, but if now they've gone from the hunters to the hunted now. Once you're at the top of the mountain,
different mentality, yeah.
And you see what teams are making moves now to really try and if not get to where they are and knock them off. Look at the Suns trying to load up with a super team of their own now. But yeah, I think they're going to definitely be right there in the running for it. They should be. There's too much talent on that team for them not to be. And like we were saying, that continuity and, they all know what their roles are. They're comfortable in them and they can go out there and execute just because this is going to be that core for the next 2-3 seasons. Like what you were saying, these guys are all comfortable with each other. And then it's on Calvin Booth and the Nuggets front office there to really just fill in those ancillary parts around these guys and keep it so that they can continue to compete at this level.
Last question before we let you go, man. I always appreciate your time. Bradley Beal is over in the PHX. All right, he's with KD. He's with the light-skinned dude, Devin Booker.
Yep.
All right. talk to me about how you think they're going to fare, or do you think they need a point guard? Because we've had a lot of big three teams, but you do need someone to facilitate. Do you think how well do you think they're going to do if they don't have a true point guard?
Yeah, I believe Cameron Payne is the only point guard on their roster right now. Oh, they got Jordan Goodwin from the Wizards in that trade as well. But
I say Russell Westbrook's dance partner back in OKC, Cameron Payne, Chicago's very own.
Oh man, if there's one thing he's been known for. But yeah, I mean, obviously that point guard position is something they're going to have to address one way or the other on the coming months. Because you can't. I mean, while Booker and Kevin Durant and even Beal to a lesser extent are capable playmakers, like you're saying, you need someone to set those guys up. You need someone to facilitate the offense regularly. And if that ends up being Cam Payne as their number one option at the point, I really am worried about what they would end up having behind him. But they've got to do something better than that, because those guys are all capable of putting the ball in the bucket. But it's a lot easier when you have someone who's reliably getting you the ball to put in the bucket. And, whether that ultimately comes from like a DeAndre Ayton trade or something like that, maybe that's the route that they go down, just because cap-wise, they're really not going to have much money to do much more than, I believe maybe they can send the mid-level exception this year and then basically sign, guys for the veteran minimum. So they're going to fill out a roster that way, like we've seen teams who go this route in terms of roster building before, just because that's the only option they have. And whether there are players who, want to sign for them for less to ring chase or whatever you want to call it, we'll see if that works or if that happens. But point guard for them is definitely the biggest concern. Those other guys, I think they're going to do what they do, and that's score the basketball. But it's definitely going to be a lot easier on them if they have someone reliable to set them up.
Michael, great stuff as always, my friend. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, though. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, once again, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on. You can follow me at MBolandCBS, like you said. Definitely please follow us at CBS Sports NBA, and check out CBSSports.com. We published about 45 stories yesterday, so we have plenty of content to peruse on your Friday here.
Great stuff, man. I appreciate it. I didn't know you're in Nashville. I thought you were down in DC or
No. I'm born and raised in DC. They moved me to Nashville a few years ago.
Why did I not know that? Because I know you do Hoya stuff, so that's why I know. And you went to South Carolina, so I just thought you were still in DC. Okay.
No, when I was 24/7, moved me down here to Nashville a few years ago, and I just kind of, because it was a lot cheaper than going back to DC.
yeah, good point. Very good point. Hey, dude, you have a great weekend, all right? What's the weather going to be like down there? Probably a lot warmer than.
It should be nice. Yeah, no, it should be nice. So.
Yeah, we got 90. We got high 80s today and 92, 94 tomorrow here in Chicago.
It should be about the same down here. So hopefully you can enjoy the weekend a little bit.
Cool, man. You have a great weekend, Papa, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Hey, you too. Thanks again for having me.
All right. Thank you. Guys, this is Michael Bowler from CBS Sports talking NBA draft. And, man, 3 hours is come and gone. Hold on. Before you go anywhere, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Okay, we have one bit of breaking news. And make sure, guys, you tune in today. All right, 12:15, we got Second City Sports coming up right after this. Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown are going to have another 2 hours of sports for you. So make sure you tune in to Sports Zone Chicago for Second City Sports. Listen, we have a little bit of some housekeeping stuff. So they're going to be a change for the meantime, probably just the month of July. Shawn and I, we'll only be on 2 hours. We're going to go from 9 to 11 in the morning. All right, we're going to go from 9 to 11. There's not. Yeah, we'll probably just go we're going to go 9 to 11, most likely until the end of July, maybe right before the end of July as football season kicks up. So not from 9 to 12, it'll be 9 to 11 starting on Monday. All right, so I'll still bring all that energy. I'll still bring all that heat, just for 1 hour less. All right, man, 3 hours is coming and going. I'm excited. I want to thank my guest Ozzie Guillen Jr. for coming on talking baseball with me. Man, if you missed that interview, definitely go check it out. He's he's one of those guys, high baseball IQ. He's been around the game his entire life. In the dugouts, in the clubhouses, he's been around it. All right, great perspective as always. And then we just got done with Michael Bolden from CBS Sports. He's a senior NBA editor for CBS Sports. His perspective, I love it. I appreciate it and I respect it. And two great guests. And then I want to thank you for tuning in, guys. We had a phenomenal show. Thanks to you guys. Man, you guys came out like crazy. Cornelia Squalls, Patty Lara jumped in late. Good morning, good afternoon. Nomad is in the house. All right, we had Junior, Armando Lara Jr. in the house. Vernon, Mickey Ficky. Vernon Fairley in the Mickey Ficky house. We had McDavid, Charles Edward Bingham McDavid Sr. in the house. All right, Miguel in the house. Everybody, all you guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate the love and support. Lavette Lee, she's always in every day, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Listen, we're going to take a 69-hour break, all right? On the other side of that 69-hour break, all right, we're going to see you. We'll see you again. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to 11. 9 a.m. to 11 Central Standard Time. So for my guy, Steve Weekly, getting me all my clips, my executive producer, Elliot Baez, my social media guy, Clarence Council III, and my co-host, in absentia, Maya Kai. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Have a great weekend. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be beautiful here in Chicago. If you got somebody who has a boat, get on there. Get out on lakefront. Enjoy it. It's going to be a hot one tomorrow. Like I said, I have a football camp to work with DJ Moore tomorrow, and then I have a birthday party where my cousin has a pool, so I will be in the pool. That's for sure. It's going to be hot. So I'm ready. I got my long sleeve white shirt that I'm going to wear underneath my camp issue t-shirt, so I don't have a farmer's tan. Got my big fisherman's hat to cover the back of my neck. I got it all. I'm ready to roll for tomorrow. I'll be coaching some young men and get a chance to meet DJ Moore. So you enjoy your weekend with the loved ones. Okay, it's going to be beautiful out. Get out there. Summertime shy in full effect, baby. All right, you can wear your white pants, your white shorts. It's all good, baby. All right, enjoy it. I will see you guys on Monday, 9 a.m. to 11 on Monday. All right, Central Standard Time. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I love you guys. I appreciate the support. We will see you on Lunes. That's Monday. Your boy, the Superback. I'm out.